All right. Shalom, shalom. Happy Sabbath to the 12 tribes of Israel. This is Brother Donnie here.
Brother Xavier.
And today we're getting into all that we have left is each other. So, this class we're going to be going over a video that I had seen a long time ago. And it's about the world's most crowded island. And it's a bunch of Israelites that live there. And we're going to take a look at this video and we're going to dissect it with the word. But before we do that, we're going to go and give shout outs to the people that's in the lesson right now. We have Sister Yulia. She is the first one in the lesson. All praise to the Most High. Shalom, sis. All right. We got Brother Quell, Lion out of Zion 144. All praises. Shalom to you. Happy Sabbath to the soldier. We got my rib here, Most High's World. Shalom to you. Happy Sabbath. Hey, all praises. Lord's will. This will be an edifying lesson. And shalom, Brother Sean. Happy Sabbath to you. The scribe behind the scenes, behind the curtains. He makes sure that everything's good. Brother Judah. Shalom to you. Happy Sabbath. Shalom. Lord's will, everything is good with you, and Lord's will, you're enjoying your Sabbath as well. Sister Tamaya, happy Sabbath to you in the building. And yeah, so before we go ahead and get into the lesson, we're gonna go and get Matthew 26 and verse 6.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 26 and verse 6. Now when Jesus was in Bethany, in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. But when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, To what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much, and given to the poor. When Jesus understood it, he said unto them, Why trouble ye the woman? For she hath wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she hath poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this, that this woman hath done, be told for a memorial of her.
Okay, so whenever we go ahead and bring out the true gospel, the gospel that Jesus Christ came and died for, not the gospel he tried to destroy, but whenever we bring out that gospel that Christ was so passionate about, the gospel that was inside him, we always make sure to pay homage to the sister that poured the ointment on the body of our Messiah. So we're going to go ahead and give out prayers to the Most High. And and also shalom to you, Brother Brew. Happy Sabbath to you in the building. And shalom to the elder. Happy Sabbath. All right. Israel, blow trumpets. First and foremost, we like to give all praises and honor to the Most High God, the creator of all things, the creator of the perfect creation, the first light, which is thy only begotten Son, which is Jesus the Christ, the man, the king that you gave to your people Israel. You loved your people Israel so much that you gave him a king that was willing to sacrifice his own body for the people. And God, we pray that you continue to reach your word throughout the four quarters of this earth, because we know that we are a scattered people. We're not just in America, Father, but we know we're everywhere. We're all over the earth because we've been scattered for our iniquity. And Father, I pray that you call unto your elect, that you call back to remembrance of you and the laws and statutes that you placed inside your only begotten Son that we're supposed to adhere to. Father, I pray that you bring that spirit back within us. and that you send comfort to the sick and to the shut in, and that comfort be thy word, and that comfort be thy statutes, because we know that's what comforted David when he was afflicted. So, Father, if you was able to comfort a man so great with the words and instructions that you instilled unto him, comfort us with that same instruction and that same guidance that you gave to the man that was so great, that you allowed to be so great as King David. And I say all praise and glory be to the Most High God in Christ, our Savior and the rightful King of the world, the King of Kings, forever and ever. Amen. Okay, so we're going to actually get into this video first. So, like I said, the class title is All We Have Left Is Each Other, and it was sprung about from watching this video right here. So let's go ahead and check out the world's most crowded island.
Santa Cruz del Islote has an area of just 1% of a square kilometer in size, where 816 people squeeze their entire lives. The island is so full that a guy does his daily workout routine near a dog feces, and chaotic life here creates new adaptations. Since we arrived on the island, we've been constantly encountering people no matter where we turn. People come out from every corner. It's impossible to be alone on these crowded streets. Each house here has dozens of people living together in tiny rooms.
How many people live in this?
And you know, these are the living conditions of the people in this island, right? You know, the island is so small, you're gonna see that bro was able to walk across the entire island in 2 minutes. You know, that's how tiny this island is. And we got all these people living here. And now this is off of the coast of Colombia. Now, Colombia is one of the most wealthy Latin or Latino, quote unquote, economies in the world. And this is an island off the coast of Colombia. So how is a country that's, you know, so rich in resources going to leave its people like this in this estate, right? And notice all the people in this island are Israelites.
About 10.
This is an average room of an average house. You will be shocked when you see how other people live. But these people have a much bigger problem than these houses, which makes life so extremely terrible here.
Welcome to the most densely populated island on earth.
A 2-hour boat ride away from the mainland of Colombia.
And it's interesting too, because he isn't the first person to make a video on this. There's another heathen that made a video on this. So, you know, we got like an Ishmaelite guy that came and was like, wow, look at the estate of these people, you know. And then now we have an Edomite that came after him and was like, wow, look at the estate of these people. You know, it's like we're a zoo to these heathen, right? You know, it's amazing for them to look and see the destruction and the judgment of God, because they knew how great we was in the before time. So they look at us now and they're like, wow, oh my God, look at the conditions. This is gross. I would never live like this. It's just like Psalms 44, where God told David that he would make us the byword, and he would make us a proverb, and we would be an astonishment for the eyes. This is an astonishment right now. This heathen is literally astonished. He's baffled that there's people that live in these conditions.
The island is just a little bigger than a football field in size and has a density of 68,000 people per square kilometer. Even in Hong Kong, known as one of the most densely populated cities in the world, this rate is 6,749. There are only 4 streets, and the place is entirely constructed of concrete. They don't have cars or motorcycles here. We feel the density as soon as we step onto the island. The sounds of people, roasters, waves, and music all mixed together. The homes here tell the story of the island. Let's get inside one now.
Can we see inside your house?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so now we're going to see, you know, inside one of the houses of, you know, these Israelites here.
See, I don't have anything. Sorry, it's a little dark inside. We don't have electricity here.
So yeah, you know, don't have electricity.
You can see that they have some laundry work in the hallway, and they leave them to dry in this open area. Let's start with this room. Homeowner says 10 people share these 3 beds together.
This is my room.
How many people sleep on the bed?
Now you can't imagine, you know, an Ishmaelite from Dubai. You know, you can't imagine, you know, an Edomite from the UK living in a room like this, right? But this is a normal living condition for these Israelites on this island.
3.
What about this room?
She is not allowing us to enter this room as it's too unorganized.
Kids used to sleep here. Since it is too hot, we take the mattresses out of the room because there is no electricity.
7 kids are living in this room alone. They're making use of every bit of space, even the walls. Because they don't own a wardrobe, their clothes, shoes are all over the place. The kitchen is far from being clean because of the water shortage. People use water only for drinking. All other reasons have to be disregarded.
Okay, so they don't even have enough clean water to just take a shower when they want to. They don't have enough clean water to just, oh, let me go brush my teeth. You know, these are luxuries that we have in Babylon, you know, that we take for granted, right? And look at these people, you know, they gotta ration water, you know. At our house, you know, with me, Brother Xavier and Brother Sean, you know, our house ran out of water. And hey, we had to experience a little bit of that, of what it's like to, you know, have water as a valuable resource now. Now we're rationing our water. Now we're like, dang, I don't know if I want to use the bathroom because I'm gonna have to use water to flush the toilet. You know, these are things that we don't consider when we're in Babylon. So let's go ahead and let's get Deuteronomy 6 and 10, because I wanna first kind of let us see the groundwork of this entire video. You know, give us a quick gist. You know, the world's most crowded island, and it's all, you know, brothers here. You know, these are not quote unquote Hispanic people. You know, just like when you see a Native American, he's not a Native American. When you see a black person, he's not black. These are Israelites. That's why they all look the same. You know, well, he's Hispanic, right? He doesn't speak English. He doesn't know what I'm saying right now, but he looks just like us. That's because we're the same people. Let's go to, like I said, Deuteronomy 6 and 10.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and verse 10. And it shall be, when the Lord thy God shall have brought thee into the land which he sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give thee great and goodly cities, which thou buildest not.
Okay, so, you know, Moses is like, hey, you know, the Most High is going to give you to this land, and there's going to be good cities. You know, you're going to have the best of the best, right? Read.
And houses full of all good things, which thou fieldest not, and wells digged, which thou diggest not, and vineyards and olive trees, which thou plantest not, when thou shalt have eaten and be full.
Okay, so look at all these good things, right? He said in houses full of good things, right? He didn't say houses full of what their houses was filled with, right? He didn't say houses filled with flies and gnats. He didn't say houses filled with bad food because there's no refrigeration. No, he said houses filled with good things, right? And then he also said we was going to have, you know, vineyards and olive trees, and all these things at the same time were things that we didn't have to build. These were things that he allowed the heathen to build. He allowed the heathen to toil away, and then he gave it to us. He wiped them out and then gave it to us, right? So this was a privilege that was given to us, right? We wasn't always living like this, right? But notice how he said, when thou shalt have eaten and be full, get verse 12.
Then beware, lest thou forget the Lord, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage.
Okay, he said, then beware, lest thou forget the Lord, right? Because why would we forget God? Because if we have all these good things, if we have all these nice things, then we have more distractions. We have more things that's taking our minds away from the commandments. That's taking our minds away from the lifestyle of God. That's why he said, when thou art eaten and be full. When you're hungry, right? Like a predator, when a predator is hungry, it actually hunts the best. Because when a predator is hungry, it kicks a signal response in their brain. So now they're more alert. They're more active. They're more twitchy because they're actually hungry. Their body needs the food. But when a lion is full, what is the lion doing? He's sleeping. He's chilling. He's watching. He can look at food, walk right past him. He like, I'm good. I'm full, right? That's how the commandments are. The commandments is our food. You know, we need to be starving. We need to be twitchy. We need to be ready to pounce on the law the moment we know, right? But we can't be in that mindset if we're sitting back, kicked up, feet up, right? So the reason why God told us to beware, right, is because the Most High said that we would forget him. But why would the Most High think that we would forget him? Because he gave us this good land. He gave us these good cities. I thought he gave us these good cities because we were good, right? Let's find out. Let's go to Deuteronomy 9 and verse 1. Because he gave us these good cities. We wasn't living like this. You know, there's people, you know, in certain parts of the West End, they living like this too. You know, there's people in certain parts of Detroit that's living like this too. There's people in certain parts of Chicago living like this. People in certain parts of Opelika, Florida, they're living like this
Gary,
too.
Indiana, right now.
Oh, Gary,
They got no
Indiana.
power for like a week or something. Ain't nobody talking about it.
So, and notice how what he said, nobody talking about it, right? I didn't even know about this island until I seen the video. And, you know, I'm pretty sure most of you guys never even knew about this crowded island, you know, the estate that these people are living in, right? There's a reason why it's not being talked about, because they don't want us to know the reality of our oppression, right? That was a class that was done a while back. The reality of our oppression. We got to bust that WandaVision bubble, right? Let's get that Deuteronomy 9 and verse 1.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 9 and verse 1. Hear, O Israel, thou art to pass over Jordan this day, to go and to possess nations greater and mightier than thyself, cities great and fenced up to heaven.
And I like how Brother Xavier emphasized mightier than thyself. You know, these places that we was living in, they had nations that were way bigger than us. They had a way larger military than us. You know, they had way more, I don't know what's the word, but it's a word for like batterments or something. They basically had a way bigger battalion than the nation of Israel, right? They had they had a bigger armory, right? And the Most High still delivered them unto our hands, right? And they build up these cities great, fenced to heaven. When it says fenced to heaven, you know, it's not talking about the celestial heaven where, you know, Cupid is floating in the clouds, you know. No, it's talking about they had walls all the way up to the sky. Like when we look at the Eiffel Tower, we're like, dang, that's going up to heaven, right? It's going up to the sky, right? So these cities were great, right? All right. So he said, look, Israel, you're going to go and possess this land today. I told you before in Deuteronomy 6, this will happen. It's happening now. Let's get verse 4.
Verse 4. Speak not thou in thy heart, after that the Lord thy God hath cast them out from before thee, saying, for my righteousness the Lord hath brought me in to possess this land. But for the wickedness of these nations, the Lord doth drive them out from before thee.
Okay. So this is why the Most High said, lest when you are eating and be full, beware lest you forget the Lord, right? The reason why he said beware is because we were not given this great opportunity. We was not given this great reward for the work that we put in, right? It was off the backs of our forefathers. It was off of the work they put in. It was off their righteousness. That's why we was given this land, because ever since the Most High first met us as a nation, we've been rebellious unto him. We've always hated God's way. And it's because we are Satan. Our mind is the devil, right? Our mind is the devil. And because we as a people rely too much on the carnal, when the spiritual comes, we can't accept it. Now we're fighting the spiritual because it conflicts with an emotion that we have, with something physical that we have that has nothing to do with the law, that has nothing to do with the principle, right? Give verse 5.
Verse 5. Not for thy righteousness.
No, for thy righteousness.
Not for thy righteousness.
Read.
Or for the uprightness of thine heart dost thou go to possess their land. But for the wickedness of these nations, the Lord thy God doth drive them out from before thee, and that he may perform the word which the Lord sware unto thy fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Again, not for thy righteousness. Okay, we didn't get this land because we was good. We didn't get this land because we was holy, right? We got this land because the people that was living in this land was doing heinous stuff. They was throwing their babies into the fire. They was eating their children, right? They was eating each other. They was raping little girls, walking past the street. Oh, you look good. They was raping little boys. Why? What you think the people wanted to do with Lot, right? The angel had to go ahead and blind their vision, because this is the wickedness that was taking place in these cities, right? They was doing all kinds of debauchery. And on top of that, just like how it says, and that he may perform the word. The Most High is a man of his word. And he told Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, look, I have a great blessing lined up for your seed, right? So again, it wasn't because of the goodness of our hearts, because our hearts are wicked, right? It was because of the goodness of our forefathers' hearts. And it was because of the pitch black evil that was in the hearts of men living on this land, right? And when we got this land, we ended up forgetting him. But let me not get too far. Let's get verse 6 too.
Verse 6. Understand therefore that the Lord thy God giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people.
Okay, so he said, thou art a stiff-necked people, right? Let me go ahead and get that. All right, stiff-necked. We'll go ahead and get this biblical definition. Bear with me. So stiff-necked. Let me go ahead and there you go. Okay, stiff-necked. So in the Bible, stiff-necked is a figurative term meaning stubborn, untractable, or resistant to guidance. Resistant to guidance. Didn't I just say that we hated God's laws? We rejected God's ways because we rely on Satan, which is our carnal mind, over the spiritual guidance that God gives us, right? So again, it's not for our righteousness' sake, because we are a stiff-necked people. But, I'm saying righteousness is keeping the commandments. Let's get that real quick too. Let's go to Luke 1 and verse 5.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 1 and verse 5. There was in the days of Herod, the king of Judea, a certain priest named Zacharias, of the course of Abiah, and his wife was the daughter of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth.
Okay, so, this is a little bit in the past, right? In the days of Herod, right? The Edomite that was the king of Judah, right? There was a certain priest, and his wife was a daughter of Aaron. Okay, verse 6.
And they were both righteous before God.
Wait, read that again.
And they were both righteous before God.
Okay, so they were both righteous. Okay, interesting. What made them righteous? Let's keep reading.
Walking.
Forgetting.
Walking.
Not keeping.
Walking.
Knowing.
Walking.
Read.
In all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord, blameless.
Blameless, right? Now, when it says they were doing it blameless, it did not mean that they were doing it and they never sinned, right? Because there is no man that sinneth not. Let's not stray away. When it said they were doing it blameless, it means they were doing it with a perfect heart. They were doing it with a mind that was willing to serve God. So whenever they did sin, whenever they did go against him, because every human on the planet will, they were able to return back unto him by remembering his laws, by remembering his ways. And they were able to keep the laws blameless, right? So when we talk about righteousness, we're talking about walking in all the commandments, right? God told us that we did not get this land for our righteousness. So that tells us that we as a nation suck at keeping the commandments. ever since we first got on the job. We sucked at doing our job. Okay. So if we sucked at doing our job all the way back in the past, what makes you think that we're doing a phenomenal job now? What got us in this captivity, right? Because of this. Let's go to Leviticus 26 and verse 13.
The book of Leviticus chapter 26 and verse 13. I am the Lord your God, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt.
And notice how the Most High keeps reminding us that he brought us out of Egypt, because that was one of the greatest things that has ever happened. How do you bring a nation of literal farmers? How do you bring a nation of farmers out of one of the most strongest superpowers to have ever existed? And you did it all on your own. These farmers ain't have to lift a single finger. Right? That's why the Most High keeps reminding us, look, I am the one that did that. I am the one that purchased you. Right? Read.
That ye should not be their bondmen. And I have broken the bands of your yoke and made you go upright.
Okay. And he was like, yeah, you guys were slaves. But you niggas was picking cotton. And I purchased you when no one wanted to purchase you. Did the French come and purchase the niggas? No. Did the people from UK come and purchase the niggas? No, I don't think so. Did the Japanese come and purchase the niggas? I don't think so either. Right? That's why we look at Esau like he's our savior, because he emancipated us. He gave us emancipation. He was the only one that bought us. No, because we still oppressed now. Look at those people on that island. They still oppressed. This is way past the transatlantic slave trade, right? And they still living like animals. So we got to remember the Most High, us listening to God, us willing to follow him, is the reason why we even have blessings in the first place, is the reason why we wasn't slaves, right? But check this out. Give verse 14.
Verse 14. But if ye will not hearken unto me, and will not do all these commandments,
Read.
and if ye shall despise my statutes, or if your soul abhor my judgments, so that ye will not do all my commandments, but that ye break my covenant.
Okay, so you see how it says, if your soul abhor my judgments. If your soul abhor my judgments, right? Okay, so what is a judgment that God gave? Well, God said that we cannot eat pork. God said we can't eat shrimp. God said we can't eat lobster. If you hate that, then these curses are for you. God said, don't marry outside your race. If you hate that, these curses are for you. God said that you have to not cook on the Sabbath and you have to not work. So all that overtime that you make, if you hate missing out on that to keep the Sabbath, these curses are for you. Okay? Even God's judgment on multiple wives. If you hate that, guess what? These curses are for you. Because this is judgments that God has set in place. Even the woman's position in a marriage, even the woman's position outside of a marriage, still being in subjection to a man. If you hate that, these curses are for you. You are one of the reasons why we're here. But guess what? That's why we all had to wake up and be brought into this truth, because we was a stiff-necked people. We've been stiff-necked since we met God. So what makes you think that we're any better now? Right? This is what got us in this situation. And now look at all the things the Most High is doing to us. Let's get verse 16.
Verse 16. I also will do this unto you. I will even appoint over you terror, consumption, and the burning ache that shall consume thy eyes and cause sorrow of heart. And ye shall you shall sow your seed in vain, for your enemies shall eat it.
And sowing your seed, it's anything you try to grow, that's gonna be in vain because you're not even gonna be able to partake of that. But that also goes with your children. Any seed that you try to sow with your children, with a woman, you try to sow a seed. Hey, guess what? Your enemy's gonna take that. What you think the child support is, right? What do you think this whole single parent? That's the enemy taking your child, right? Ye shall sow your seed in vain. You did all that work to bring up a child for someone that hates you to take them away from you and to raise them so that they can hate you, right? This is what happens with your soul abhor my judgments. You see, we just only look at judgments as, oh yeah, the commandments, but the judgments is everything that is said in this Bible. Judgments also includes the prophecies. Judgments also includes the way of life, the things, the order that has been set up. When God said, hey, you need to have judges and officers in your gates. You need to have a system set up in place. Brothers, you need to have people that you're accountable to. If you hate that, if your soul abhor my judgments, these curses are for you. We have to really understand what it is that we're subscribing to, because I don't think most of us really do. We say that we're in the truth. We say that we love God, but when there's certain things that God said that is okay or that we have to do, we try to be like, he didn't specifically say a commandment. Yeah, but it's a judgment. It's something that God decided was right. God was like, you know what? This is the best way to go about this. If you're going to get married, make sure you write up a contract, have it in paper. Make sure you have 2 or 3 witnesses there. Right? If your soul abhors that, then guess what? These curses are for you. That's why we're here. Right? Let's get verse 31.
Verse 31. And I will make your cities waste and bring your sanctuaries unto desolation, and I will not smell the savor of your sweet odors.
Okay, so that island off the coast of Colombia, would you say that city is waste? Would you say that city has been brought to desolation? Because they have nothing. They don't have water, right? They don't have clean water. Well, they do. They have some way to, filter the rainwater. But that's only when rain comes. How often does it rain? You still have to ration out the water. Their power comes on a set schedule. And that's only if it's sunny, if the weather is good for that one solar panel that they have on the entire island. So I will make your cities waste. You know why? Because our soul abhorred the way of life that God gave to us. Right? Give verse 32.
Verse 32. And I will bring the land into desolation, and your enemies which dwell therein shall be astonished at it.
Wait, didn't the Ishmaelite guy say he never seen anything like that? He was like, damn, I never seen a city this destroyed. Man, this is gonna be good content. I'm gonna make a lot of money off this video. That's why the Edomite hopped on it a year later. Right? Because they can even make profit off of our destruction. They can make profit off of our desolation, off of us straying away from God, right? This is something that we got to understand too, right? That even though in Leviticus 26, right, these curses really took place when the Romans came and was, lighting the whole temple on fire, and they was taking people, and people was in the siege, eating their babies, being starved to death, right? These curses happen for generations. That's why it's generational curses. They don't just stop at once. But for some reason, we can let the Edomites go ahead and trick us and say, oh yeah, the curse has already been fulfilled, brother. Yeah, that the Holocaust, yeah, that was the curses. It's all been fulfilled. The Gentiles, the Greeks, that was already fulfilled in the time of the Greeks. That It's over. Rome is gone, Brother Xavier. Rome is gone.
Look like they rebuild the beat.
Look at the architecture. Rome is still here, right? Rome is still in power, right? Again, these curses aren't just one and done, right? It's taking place over and over again, right? In movies, when you're cursed, the curse doesn't just go away, right? In movies, you're cursed until the curse is removed or until you die, right? We understand that concept. And the only way to remove the curse is by adhering to strict rules, strict instructions that allows you to remove the curse from you.
AKA killing off the old man.
Exactly. Let's think of Smile, right? Let's think of The Ring, the 2002 The Ring, right? That curse is on you. It's on your ass. There's nothing you could do. You can't run away. You can't run away from it, right? It's going to get you until you're consumed. You have some?
They even said it's 7 days.
Yeah.
7 days. You know, like the Lord.
Real talk. Because the Lord told us we got 7 days. It's not literal 7 days, but it's a season, right? This grace isn't forever, right? It's a season. It's a set time that we have to remove the curse, or we die, or we perish, right? These curses are still on us. It doesn't just stop after you've been infected, right? It slowly decomposes you, right? It slowly kills you. That's how it is with the nation of Israel and God, right? We can only remove this curse on us by obeying the strict instructions that God gave us to remove this curse. If we can't do that, well, you see how these brothers are living on this island. You see how these brothers and sisters are living on this island. These curses still apply to them. Their cities are waste. Their enemies are looking like, damn, you guys are living like animals. This is amazing. They're astonished, right? It sounds like Leviticus 26 and 33. Let's get 33. Mm-hmm.
Verse 33. And I will scatter you among the heathen, and will draw out a sword after you, and your land shall be desolate.
No, it's going to be bountiful.
Shall be desolate.
Read.
And your cities waste.
Again, their city is waste. Colombia is one of the most, is one of the most richest economies in the Latino world. I don't know what to say because they're Israelites, right? But we have those people right there on that island living the way they're living. And in Colombia, it's a big thing of, if you're a white Colombian or a black Colombian. If you're black, you're not Colombian. It's like that in Cuba. If you're black, you're not Cuban. It's like that in the Dominican Republic. If you're black, you're not Dominican. These Edomites destroyed our mind so much that we're looking at color and we're like, it's bad to be black. And then because we look at that, like, it's bad to be black, the white skinned Colombians that are still Israelites, they just got white skin, they're looking at you like you a monkey, and they don't even associate themselves with Israel. That's how destroyed we are. The division is intricate, right? Let's go, because I keep saying that. Let me look that up. Oh my God. All right. Let me go ahead and share the screen. Bear with me. I should have had this already pulled up. So yeah. Is Colombia one of the richest Latin American countries? Colombia is one of the largest economies in Latin America, but whether it depends on how you define rich by total GTB per capita or overall development, right? At the end of the day, the development and quality of life is a life expectancy of 78 years, right? In America, the life expectancy is like what, 60? Like 60 years or something, right? And so at the end of the day, Colombia is one of the, how would I say, it's one of the more well-off Latin American countries, right? When you think of Brazil, right, it's better than Brazil. When you think of Mexico, it's better than Mexico. When you think of what else? Peru, especially Peru. Oh my God, it's way better than Peru. Honduras is way better than Honduras, right? So, like I said, it's one of the more well-off countries, and we have people living like that. So let's get back to the video. Let's go and get back.
Barbers at work. Chairs spilling out of homes. Kitchen is far from being clean because of the water shortage. People use water only for drinking. All other reasons have to be disregarded. Some barbers at work. Chairs spilling out of homes. Children constantly running up and down. 220 families live in houses illegally built. Here, permission is not obtained from any authority, and no one is officially a landowner. Everybody builds their houses wherever they want. When they can't find any space, they build on top of existing buildings. The buildings are so intertwined that sometimes they have to walk through each other's homes to get to the other side. As we get to know islanders more and more, we will discover a very different reason why their future is going to get even worse. Population density defies all logic. We see dishes and leftovers everywhere, and this dog is trying to eat the crumbs left on the spoon. Some people are fishing, others selling food on street corners, and some working on construction. A few are trying their luck with a lottery machine brought to the island, dreaming of the
So hold on. So the government, the government ain't give them no clean water, ain't give them no electricity, right? These are all things the Colombian government could do. Is it going to cost resources? Yeah. But at the end of the day, if your people is living in that estate, wouldn't you want to expand the island so they can have more room to live? Wouldn't you want to build more homes, spacious homes? Wouldn't you want to give them running water? Wouldn't you want to give them power? But they have enough power for that lottery machine. It looks on right now. That lottery machine looks on, but they don't have power. My bad.
Seeing this just been like on every corner is a motherfucking liquor store that's selling, that's doing lottery, gambling, slot machines in them and all that. So it's just the same, like you said, it's the same thing over here. Like you talking about earlier. No matter where you at, you're not gonna be able to escape these curses if you Israel. Because he said, "Curse shalt thou be in the city." They in the city in the middle of the ocean. And it said, "Curse shalt thou be in the field." So it don't matter where you go try to do, bro. Like you're not gonna escape this shit. It's just crazy.
Man, for real. Like he said, you're not going to escape, right? And I like that he brought out that scripture because we're gonna go into that scripture later. Because it's like what he said, hey, cursed in the city, cursed in the field. It don't matter where you go, right? You still gonna be cursed, right?
becoming rich. As this all happens, there's a birthday celebration, and the party sounds can be heard.
And then we got a birthday celebration. I'm telling you. Now we wonder why all these things are happening to us. Because we keep straying farther and farther away from God.
I'd be damned if I'm spending money on that shit and we got other problems. We got bigger issues than getting fucking, my fault, than getting minion balloons and stuff. Nah, bro.
They got the minion balloons and the gift bags.
We got bigger issues.
They got no running water. But it also does show you that us as Israel, we can make something out of nothing. And it's alluding to what I said earlier in the class. All that we have left is each other.
Everywhere.
Your cavities can actually repair themselves and
for comfort in their little space. The party sounds can be heard everywhere. People are striving for comfort in their little space.
Is this her own house or is she on a rent?
My own house.
What is the average rent here?
There are some who pay rent because there are people who are not from here. They pay $50 to $75. Usually the only utility they pay for is electricity.
There is a crowded family here.
And that's crazy too. Like they got to pay for that electricity as well. It's not even like what kind of expense are you losing powering an island that's less like that's not as big as a football field? You know what I'm saying? Like how much of an expense Are you really losing?
It said people who's not from here too. I don't know if you picked up on that. Who?
Yeah.
I'm not coming there to go. That's
It has,
crazy,
has
bro.
to be someone, that's struggling. Someone that really needs a place.
That's crazy, bro.
Mhm.
Yeah, you got to pay his electricity. Don't they sound like America almost too?
Yeah.
Sometimes over here, Section 8 houses, all you got to do is take care of a little bit of bills and stuff. Again, same thing. Can't escape it.
For real. You can't escape the curses. And it also goes in, we will go to our enemy for the want of all things. Right?
They gave the second floor to their married children so that they can stay there.
It seems they have a communal life here. For you to have
But notice that, right? Even though they have this, they live in this really bad condition, they're happy living together, right? Their kids got married and they're like, man, you could take they have no space. And they're like, man, you could sleep upstairs, man. Y'all can have the top half of the house, right? This is a mindset that we have, escaped from because we've been full. Because, Esau, gave us the illusion of the chains being broken. And we have all these luxuries that we can obtain.
Have a better understanding how small this island really is. I came to the furthest side of it, and I will walk to the other side. And while doing that, I'll start a timer. Let's see how many minutes it will take.
We're trying to find our way among the maze-like narrow streets. Privacy is impossible here because with every step we pass through someone's life. Kids dominate this island's population. Even a space of 4 or 5 steps turns into a vast playground in the imagination of these children. Island has 1 school, 1 church, 1 clinic, 1 hotel, 1 restaurant, and 3 markets. 200 years ago, none of these streets, this chaos, garbage, mosquitoes, and the people were here. According to a legend, some fishermen discovered this island and spent the night here when it was too late to return. Then they decided to settle here with their families after sleeping well without mosquitoes. It was late.
And really, they were trying to escape the curses too. They were probably like, well, you know what? I mean, we're like the dark-skinned Colombians, we're not too welcomed over there in our country. I mean, shoot, this could be us right here. We can make this paradise, right? But if it's not, if the foundation isn't God,
Right.
look at what happens.
Later artificially enlarged by compressing coral rocks, seashells, and waste year after year.
It took less than 2 minutes.
We met a 94-year-old lady who witnessed everything here.
Was she born on this island?
She never left, not even a single day.
Fishermen first came from the Baru region. They started to expand the island, and in 100 years the island came like this. There were no motors back then or anything like that, only small canoes with paddles. If you remember it correctly, when I was born there was only this house and a few more houses. The rest was nothing.
We are blessed to be located on the world's second largest coral reef with its...
Okay, now peep this. My man said we are blessed to live on an island with the world's second most largest coral reef, right? Now, at first, this is a good thing. It's a good thing, right? Very optimistic. And also, he's able to be content with what he has. That's that Proverbs 30:9, right? When Solomon said, give me what's sufficient unto me. That's good. That's a good spirit. But however, it could be a detriment because now he doesn't see that he is oppressed. My man, is not a blessing to be on the island. It's a blessing to be surrounded by the family that you guys have created, but it's not a blessing to be on that island, right? So how can we go ahead and tell this man about the truth and tell him that Christ is coming to save the oppressed? He's like, I'm not oppressed. I live on one of the greatest blessings ever. God gave us this island on the second largest coral reef that protects us from waves. He's going to expound into that, right? So because they have a few crumbs, they think that they're blessed instead of cursed.
Amazing sea life. Waves that rise 20 to 30 meters in the open ocean are reduced to merely 25 to 30 centimeters when they reach our shores. Look.
Okay, so he's saying and the coral reef protects us from the waves, And we have the most beautiful sea life. Well, as we get later on into the video, their water is so polluted that if they have to fish, they have to go to the mainland. They have to hop on a boat and go to the mainland. So, the ocean life that you have may be good, but you guys can't even eat off the water. And then you're saying the waves later on in the video, it talks about that when it rains, they get happy. But when it's stormy season, it's like life or death. Can you imagine if Hurricane Andrew went across that island? Right? It wouldn't be too good.
All that you see around the island, up to 5 or 6 miles off the coast, is surrounded by pure coral. We're safe here.
How many
He said we're safe here, right? Okay, let's get Psalms 73 and verse 5. And I'm not trying to bash the way that bro is living, because I think it's beautiful that even though they live in such a terrible situation, that they're able to make the most of it because they rely on each other. All that we have left is each other. That is why he thinks it's a blessing. That is what's so powerful of actually building a community. That is what's so powerful of actually not just building your community, but having your community in a reverence of a family. That you really look at them like brothers and sisters, and you're not just saying it in talk, and you're not just saying it in speech, but that really is your brother, and that really is your sister. That's how they live. And look at how happy they are having nothing. They have nothing. Now, I'm not saying that we have to not have nothing, but look at all the things that we have here, right? Imagine if we had the same type of community mindset as these people, how much happier we would all be. How much greater, how much of a increase of our quality of life will be, right? It would be so much better. So let's go ahead and get Psalm 73 and verse 5.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 73 and verse 5. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men.
Didn't bro said he was safe there? He said we are safe here. It's a blessing to live here. Verse 6.
Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain.
Wait, what compasseth them?
Pride compasseth them about as a chain.
Read.
Violence covereth them as a garment.
Now, when it says violence covereth them as a garment, it's saying the violence that's coming with God's wrath, the violence that's coming with God's judgment is going to cover them like a garment. Cursed in the city, cursed in the field. Violence will cover them as a garment because pride compasseth them as a chain. Where is that pride coming from? Satan, their own mind. They think that they're good. They think that they're okay. They don't think that they're in trouble. And because of that, Satan is wrapped around them like a yoke of iron, and God's belt is going to be wrapped around that ass. And that's why we can't escape it. Because we think that we're better than God. That's why I went to Deuteronomy 6 and Deuteronomy 9. So we can understand that we as a people aren't anything. It's because of God that we're something. It's because of his laws and the way of life that he gave us made us something. The heathen that live today are living based off of the principles that they took out of this Bible. Once they were able to get their hands on this Bible, all of a sudden the Renaissance. Oh my God, the Renaissance. Look at all these things that we know now. We know how to wash our ass. Oh my God, the Renaissance. These were all things that we were doing before. God told Moses and Aaron to wash their behind before they entered the tabernacle. We was taking showers back then. We wasn't in the fields of Africa with cloths hanging around our private parts, chasing a hyena. Like, no, we was living like royalty. And now we living like this because pride compasseth us as a chain, right? Get verse 7.
Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily.
Okay. So my man said they're blessed to live on that island, right? So how will he receive the commandments? What will motivate him to change his entire lifestyle if he thinks that the way that he's living is blessed, right? There's this fighter, his name is Max Holloway, Hawaiian brother. He always says, the best is blessed. The best is blessed, baby. The best is blessed, right? Well, if you think that you're blessed and you don't have no fringes on, Max, how are you the best? That's why God oppressed us, so we can seek answers, the commandments, and return back unto him. That's why we're in this state, so we can return to God. But if we're oppressed and we don't want to return back unto him because we think we're fine, then how will we ever escape that violence? Let's get Psalms 119 and verse 67.
And if it's that easy for them to do it in that state, how much easier, like Brother Donnie was talking about here in Babylon, for us, you know?
We have running water. We have electricity. We have more than one lottery machine. Now I'm playing, you know. The lottery machine isn't a plus, right? But we have all these things that they don't have, right? But they are doing us a shame when it comes to community, right? A lot of people in the truth, right? Read.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 119 and verse 67. Before I was afflicted, I went astray, but now have I kept thy word.
This is why it is important to remember that you are oppressed, that you are afflicted, because if we never forget that we are at a disadvantage, the enemy can never gain an advantage over us. I'm going to say that again. If we never forget that we are at a disadvantage, the enemy can never gain an advantage over us, because we would know. How could they trap us? We would know. We wouldn't be like Nolan, because we would know, right? They would not be able to get one over on us, right? Once David was afflicted, he returned to God. Once we return to God, no one can touch us. Let's get Judah 5 and verse 5. Let's get some more evidence on that. Shout out to Judith.
It's the book of Judith, chapter 5 and verse 5. Then said Achior, the captain of all the sons of Ammon, let my Lord now hear a word from the mouth of thy servant, and I will declare unto thee the truth concerning this people, which dwelleth near thee and inhabiteth the hill countries. And there shall no lie come out of the mouth of thy servant.
Okay, so, you know, Achior is like, he's speaking to Holofernes, right? And Holofernes is a captain for the army of Assur, right? And Holofernes is like, man, you know, I wanna besiege these people right here. You know, I want to take these people, and you know, I want to take their land. Now Achior is like, okay, well, before you do that, let me go ahead and give you just a brief rundown on who these people are, right? Give verse 6.
Verse 6. This people are descended of the Chaldeans.
Okay, the reason why is because Abraham was born in the Ur of the Chaldees. He was born in the Ur of Chaldea, right? Ancient Mesopotamia. He's saying, look, you know, these guys are Chaldeans, right? But that's not saying that, oh, we're no longer Israel. That's just saying where Abraham came from, the forefather, right? Get verse 17.
Verse 17. And whilst they sinned not before their God, they prospered.
No, they were cursed.
They prospered.
No, when they listened to God, God still harmed them.
They prospered.
Read.
Because the God that have iniquity was with them. Hateth iniquity, sorry.
No, you good.
The God that hateth iniquity was with them. But when they departed.
Okay, so when they said, we don't want to do this no more. When they said, God, you know, you saying that I need a marriage covenant. I don't need to do that. God, you saying I need to marry this sister I slept with. I don't need to do that. I don't want to do that. God, you saying I got to raise my children and teach them the way. I'd rather just throw them into the burning bull. God, you saying that my husband can have another wife. I don't want to do that because I'm not going to be a multiple wife. No, God. So when we started to do this, read.
But when they departed from the way which he appointed them, they were destroyed in many battles very sore.
No, they succeeded.
They were destroyed in many battles very sore.
In some battles.
In many battles very sore.
Read.
and were led captives into a land that was not theirs.
Hold on. So you're telling me that these, people on this small island of Colombia, they didn't originate there? You're telling me that wasn't their original country? Interesting. So you're telling me the Negroes that was picking cotton in Alabama, they wasn't originally there? Interesting. So you mean to tell me that the Negroes in the west coast of Africa, in the Wichita slave coast, right, which they called the Kingdom of Judah on the 1611 map of West Africa, you mean to tell me those slaves right there, they weren't African? Man, read.
And the temple of their God was cast to the ground, and their cities were taken by the enemies.
Okay, so the the country of Israel, the city of Jerusalem right now. Who is living in the city of Jerusalem right now? Is it the black people? No. Is it the Hispanic people? No. The Native Americans? No. It's the Edomites, right? Well, God said that, hey, their cities were taken by the enemies. So if who's living in Israel right now is claiming to be Israelites, how could they be Israelites according to the Bible? Read.
But now are they returned to their God.
Okay, so Achior is like, hey, hold on now. Hey, these Negroes right here are keeping the commandments. I'm surprised too. I thought they couldn't do it, but they keeping the commandments right now. Read.
And are come up from the places where they were scattered, and have possessed Jerusalem, where their sanctuary is, and are seated in the hill country, for it was desolate.
Okay, so again, remember I said the curses come back and back. You'll have a scholar be like, actually, in Judah 5 and 18, the curse has already been fulfilled because you guys have been placed back in your land. No, because the curses, the prophecy will be fulfilled once Christ comes through and sets his people back in the place, back in the land that they were chosen in, that they were chosen to dwell in, right? So these curses were not resolved right here. They were just able to alleviate the curse because they heard like what you said, Brother Xavier, 7 days. You have 7 days. They said, oh, shoot. Oh, fringes? All right, let me go. Hey, let me throw this shirt on. Let me take that off. Oh yeah, Tammuz, the Easter orgy. I can't do that with y'all today. I gotta get back to Jerusalem. Right? Get verse 20.
Verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them.
Okay. So hey, he's like, hey, now hold on now. If they are sinning though, if we see them over there buying on the Sabbath, if we see a cooking fire lit up on the Sabbath, because it was okay to have fires lit on the Sabbath. All right, we needed a burnt offering continually, right? Day and night. That never stopped, right? But if you see a cooking fire out on the Sabbath, someone is cooking some s'mores on the Sabbath. Oh yeah, man, we could just charge up in there. We don't gotta worry about anything. We could pull up there blindfolded. We gonna slay everybody.
See, and that's how they got us this time, because they already seen that we was fooling ourselves. All they had to do was scout us out. See, they ain't even keeping the laws like they supposed to be. Oh yeah, we could take them. And then once we take them, we just got to keep them in their delusion. And that's where we've been at. It's still in here to this day.
Exactly. Once, like what he said, once we take them, we have to keep them in their delusion. Because like what Achior said, if these Negroes return to God, if these Negroes return to God, we cannot fight them. Right? And you know what? Let's go and get that too. Verse 21.
Verse 21. But if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by.
Ignore those niggas.
Let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world.
And notice how he said before all the world, because God runs the world. Christ runs the world. He created the world on the Father's commandment. And the world was made for Israel. So the world, yeah, you are going to be reproached, the entire world, because the whole nation of Israel is going to be on that ass. So yeah, you know what, man? Pass by them niggas, because if you see them with fringes on, if you see them saying hallelujah, yeah, just pass by them, because it's not going to be a fight we can win.
That's funny you said that. When we went out to go visit the Believers of the Way out in L.A., you know, and it's not even no disrespect with them, but, you know, there's some brothers who gangbang on that, pulling up on me and Brother Quet while he's walking. But they seen our fringes, they looked down. I said, oh, okay, never mind. And they kept pushing. See, it's like, hey, you messing with the Lord, man, he protects you, man. So
Facts.
even everybody knows that. That's just a known thing, man.
All praises to the Most High. And it's crazy that I remember them telling me about that experience. Man, that's crazy. And it's in LA too, where colors actually matter. You know, and they going ahead and they were wearing red and blue. But because they got the Lord stamp, because they got the name of the Lord on them,
They passed by.
man.
They kept it rolling. They was like, hold on. Oh, never mind.
That's funny. And that goes exactly with the scripture, you know, because, hey, they seen at that point in time, they were keeping the commandments. They had them fringes on. They were like, let's pass by, right? So let's go and get back to the video, right? Because, again, I want us to understand, right, that one, these are Israelites. Because of these curses that we're reading, they definitely apply to these people, right? And two, even though they are cursed in this way, because they have each other, because they put community first, they think it's a blessing to be on this island. That's how powerful being next to one another is, right? And we'll get into more scriptures on that. But first, let's let this video play.
How many people live here?
2 families live here. Up to 5 or 6 miles.
How many people live here?
2 families live here. Each family can.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, and also Peep too. He said 2 families live in this house, right? Hey, 3 families live in the house with me, Brother Xavier, and Brother Sean. That's a 3-family house, right? So, and Brother Decarius. That's actually a 4-family house, right? There's 4 brothers in that house. So, again, these are all things that is possible. These are all things that you can do, right? And you can be happy. This world made you think that you will be unhappy if you're surrounded by your people. That's why we hate each other.
Consists of 6 members, 12 people in total.
Where is the kitchen?
Now, I'm not saying let's get 12 people in one room. I'm not, you know, like I'm not dumb, right? You know, I know if we don't have to do that, we don't have to do that, right? I'm just saying that look at how extreme their condition is, but because they rely on each other, it's nothing, right? That's what I want. That's the point I'm trying to get across.
The kitchen. The stove goes here. That's not a problem. We cook with propane gas.
Dogs can't grow anymore once they hit a certain size because of not getting enough nutrition. Life here is really limited for every creature. Here, we meet the nurse who has helped almost everyone come into the world healthy.
And this, you know, I like this part because now we get to see the only nurse, you know, shout out Sister Des, the only nurse in their community, right? And she had a hand in every birth on that island.
40 years of delivering babies.
How many babies?
Oh my goodness, I've lost count. I don't even remember. Most of the youth in this town passed through these hands that you see. I delivered
Look at all
almost
those
everyone
beautiful
on this
babies.
island, and now I'm delivering even their children's children. And I've never had a baby die. Little children with vomiting.
Hey, all praises to the Most High God. And she never had a baby die on. Hey, shout out Sister Des, man. She never had a baby die on her, man. That's the importance of having people like that in your community, right? Because they had this, you know, they had this great woman here, right? Now look at all these beautiful, beautiful babies, all these beautiful families that's able to expand and grow, right? And no baby has died in her hands. Hey, the Lord blessed her hands for real.
You said, like you said earlier, this is on a small island. So think what we could do if we all came together. This is just what one sister, you feel me, on the island could do. Imagine with a bunch of sisters that are like-minded with the same gifts. we all just came together, the things we'd be able to create.
Man, we would be unstoppable. We would be unstoppable. You know, we wouldn't need to rely on hospitals. We wouldn't need to rely on their school system. You know, we wouldn't need to rely on their supermarkets because we would be able to do everything in our community, right? Let me get right here.
I delivered almost everyone on this island, and now I'm delivering even their children.
She delivered almost everyone. Excuse me, I said everybody. She delivered almost everyone on the island.
Children, and I've never had a baby die. Little children with vomiting, a high fever, or diarrhea come to me. I tell them what to do or which medicine to take. I'm like a doctor. Everyone knows me here.
The lack of modern healthcare services on the island poses a risk in emergency situations. But
And you know that can also go into that Proverbs 31 woman. You know, she is known throughout the gates. You know, even though she's not keeping the commandments, she is closer to being a Proverbs 31 woman than sisters with fringes on. I want us to understand that, which is crazy, right? Just like these brothers are closer to actually being a community of brothers than brothers with fringes. You know, that's what it means by our righteousness is as filthy rags, right? It's not saying, the righteousness is filthy rags, brother. Throw those fringes away. No. He's saying that all that you're doing, it still doesn't mean ish because you at your core are evil.
That with meekness, that engrafted word, added onto the word. Because we already had the word. It's knowledge puffeth up against brother or against even God sometimes, But again, like Brother Donnie said, because your heart is evil, it's supposed to be meek, taking these hard times and understanding the word. Because without the knowledge too, it also, you don't know why, but we know why. So being meek and understanding why these things are going on, or when hard times transpire while we're in the conditions we're in, and accepting it to be humble, because that's what meek means, to take adversity or harm unjustly without resentment, so without resentment to God, still being that unity, like we talking about before, like that's why you say we hate each other because of it, but that's why.
Hey, and that was eloquently put, right? And I honestly couldn't have said that better myself. But it's like what he said, right? And look at this small scale, right? And I like that Brother Xavier keeps, going back to that point. Look at how small this operation is, right? We have way more resources, right? We could do this the right way. It's possible, right? But because we're so jaded, because we're so tired, oppression maketh a wise man mad, we don't even think these things are possible no more, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to let this play out.
as you will understand by the end of the video, their real problem is so much more vital. The lack of modern healthcare services on the island poses a risk in emergency situations. But as you will understand by the end of the video, their real problem is so much more vital. By the way, according to the locals, the average life expectancy on the island is 85 to 90 years.
My sister.
Oh, man. Yeah, that is crazy. And then now think about it, too. The life expectancy in Colombia that we seen, it was like 78. Man, they living longer than the people that got all the resources.
In worse conditions.
And they're in worse conditions. But they're living longer. Like, that's why we have to stop, like, all the things that the heathen tell us that's good for us. And like, oh, that's bad. That's bad. You can't be taking those herbs because those herbs, there's not enough science behind them. Man, shut up.
You know what that is?
What?
Not being full off of the heathen's knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Because they're disconnected in a way, even though they still the curses, you can't run from it, but they're kind of disconnected in a way from the influence of the heathen, so without that lack of influence, even though they have influence for the heathen, like you said, you didn't just originate there with the thoughts and idea that you have. They came from somewhere, but you're cut off, so you're kind of able to tap in more to the Most High naturally, because we are the Lord's people, regardless if you know it or not, or regardless if you believe it or not. And this is just proof. Like, you are executing laws without you even knowing that you are doing it when you're cut off from the rest of the world. When you're just doing what you naturally do, you do in the law.
And that goes into Brother Xavier's previous class. I like bringing this class up. Israel under mobile heart attack. because he goes into our perception, how the enemy is attacking what we see as real, right? And it's like what he said, because they've been cut off in a way from the information, from the food of the heathen, you know, it's easier for them to be more in line with, you know, certain principles that God set in place, right? Their life expectancy is 80 to 90 years. That is crazy, right? We can't imagine an American living that long, right? Someone in UK living that long, but they have a way better health system, right? They have all the medicine, quote unquote, right? Now, I'm not saying none of that is good. There's still good in that. But what makes it bad is when they say that this is the only way. The Lord said he have created medicines out of the earth, and out of the Lord cometh healing. So what do you mean that there's not a cure for this, when God said there is a cure for every ailment under the sun? You're lying to me, right? But like what Xavier said, because they're disconnected from that lie and it's not constantly being fed into their mind, look at how much, again, the quality of their life is so much better. They don't have TVs, you know, they don't have Instagram, they don't have, you know, the cell phones, they don't have the PS5, the Xbox, the PC.
It's funny you gonna say that, because I was gonna say seeing is believing, and we're constantly being flooded with stuff that we're supposed to believe in, like you said here, and they're not being there, or not as much. But it goes into that placebo effect as well, because if you believe, it will have the effect. I don't know if you have ever heard of the placebo experiment, but they'll give actual medicine to people and then give other people a sugar pill or something, and it won't tell who had the right one or not, but the symptoms will still get healed, or people will start feeling better because they believe it's the actual thing, and they believe it actually works. So seeing is believing, and if you really, that's why it says you have to believe on the word as well too, and that's why they try to distract us so much, so our belief gets thrown off, because it really does have an effect on how this word affects you and how it transpires from your mind into fruits with the hand.
And what you just said too is, and we'll get the scripture. Let's get Matthew 17 and verse 20, because I like what he said. Seeing is believing. And placebo, man, placebo effects. My dad used to do that on me all the time, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, he was a holistic doctor and everything. You know, I used to, and that's how you could tell if I was, you know, BSing. I'm like, oh, you know, that's not her. And he'll go ahead, he'll give me something. And I'm just like, oh, man, I feel better. He's like, man, that was sugar water. I'm over here like, whoo, he just gave me the potion. It was just sugar water. He's like, man, you full of ish. But yeah, you go ahead and get that. Matthew 17 and verse 20.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 17 and verse 20. And Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye have faith as a grain of mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you.
And notice how he said, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. That's why your mind is the most powerful thing in your body. It's not your muscles, you know, men. You know, it's not your figure, woman. It's your mind, right? Your mind is the most powerful thing. That is the soul, right? That's why Esau is so obsessed with the mind, getting us in VR. We're in the database, the meta. Yeah, because they want to take a hold of your soul, right? That is what your mind is, right? And if you truly believe, like if you got to understand, this is something I always say too. Everybody will always do what they want to do. Everybody will always do what they want to do. You know, someone's going to be like, oh man, I just wanted to do this. But they didn't do it. They didn't really want to, right? Everybody's going to do what they want to do. People say, oh, I want to love God. I want to do that. But they don't have fringes on when you bring them to Numbers 15:38. Oh, I love God, man. I want to do that. But they got mixed fabrics on when you show them Deuteronomy 22 and 11. Oh man, I love God. But they eating bacon, egg, and cheese when you showed them Leviticus 11 and Isaiah 66. Like, come on, right? Everybody's going to do what they want to do, right? And these people, you know, they want to live well. So they're living well in their minds, right? because they have so much faith, because their minds is so set on creating something out of nothing. That's what they did, right? So again, our mind is very powerful. We have to make sure that our minds are centered towards our treasure, and our treasure should be the kingdom of heaven, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and everything else shall be added unto you. Matthew 6:33. Let's actually continue this right here.
Are vital. By the way, according to the locals, the average life expectancy on the island is 85 to 90 years.
My sister died at the age of 103.
People get to go beyond these limits only after they lose their lives, because there is no cemetery on this island where people can bury their loved ones, as there is no land to dig. After the corpses are toured around the square with a ceremony, they are then taken to the mainland by a boat and buried there.
What is the average age for girls to get married or have a child?
Typically, girls are 16 years old when they have
Okay, now you see, that's crazy, you know. But you know, that's to be expected, right? That's to be expected. There's no real laws that's governing them, right? So girls get married at 16, they get kids, you know. That's a little young. Not a little young, that's very young, right? You know, we do 20. You know, that's what the Most High said is acceptable. The Most High said, hey, you're a man when you're 20. All the men 20 years of age and up, when he was talking to Moses to go ahead and scout out the land, was all the men 20 years and up, right? So you're a man, you're an adult when you're the age of 20, right? So these, you know, it's a little young, but at the end of the day, you know what can you expect?
Typically, girls are 16 years old when they have their first children. This also applies to their children when they get to that age.
There is no family planning, and the population keeps growing rapidly.
How many kids do people usually have?
Here, from 2 to 5.
Family life here is uniquely laid back. Most of the couples are together without any official marriages. Also, it's not unusual for people to have kids with more than one partner, but that's...
Whoa, hold on. It's not unusual for them to have multiple partners? Dang, but they look so happy, don't they? Why are they so happy? I thought Esau told us that if we have more than one wife, then we would be destroying our family. I thought Esau told us that having more than one wife is not possible in these times because we're so disconnected from what was traditional. No, it's not that it's impossible. It's like what we said earlier. If you have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, you will tell this mountain, remove from yonder, and the mountain will remove from hence. It's normal for these people to have multiple partners on this tiny island. Do you see World Star Hip Hop on the island? I don't think I see no World Star Hip Hop. I don't think I see nobody taking earrings off and I'm fighting over a man. Nah, I don't see any of that, do I? I just see a bunch of smiles, happy people. What you gotta say?
You know this. See, when you living in a bigger place, you feel like you can get away from people. You know, but when you on that small island, everybody got to deal with everybody.
Yes.
Like bro said, he couldn't walk around a corner without 4 people walking by him. Every corner you went. So you have to, out of necessity, be at peace with each other in all things. Or so imagine a riot on that month, or something crazy, or some like some of the scriptures, like when they chopped up the woman, you feel me, and sent her. Imagine something like that happened on the island, and the whole island just going into chaos because everybody knew everybody, and it's so close. They can't have none of that, you know. So out of necessity, it's that unity that's brought together. But here we're so dispersed and spread out, and get your own thing, and you can land of the free, and you got acres of land, go wherever you want and get away. You feel me? It's no necessity being forced on you to actually be with each other and stay with each other and make it work out for the best.
To actually do conflict resolution, right? And I like what you're saying too, because that's something I didn't even think about. It's out of necessity. They have no choice but to deal with each other. They can't be like, oh, I got work, you know, I gotta go to work, you know, no, I gotta do this. And hey, I'm not saying that I do that too. You know, I'd be like, dang, I gotta go to work. Dang, I'm trying to go to the gym. Dang, I gotta teach some kids how to read. I had all the stuff to do. I attend to the garden, you know. But we can get caught up on our own things to a point we can find ourselves putting God second, you know. And putting God second could be putting your community second, because your community is the body of Christ, right? So these people, these sisters have no choice but to get along with each other. They have no choice to, because like what Brother Xavier said, you can't walk across the island without 4 people coming out like a jump scare in a horror movie. You walking through the alley, you got kids playing soccer, you got a dog licking a spoon, you know, you got a rooster just looking at you, you know, caw-caw, you know, there's all kinds of things happening, right? It's out of necessity, right? This is how you know that the mindset of men having multiple wives as something wrong is a mindset that was given to us by the heathen. Didn't Brother Xavier said that they're disconnected from the heathen propaganda? They're disconnected from the information. So that's why they don't even think like, oh man, that's wrong that we have, you know, Esteban right there with Catalina and Sarah. No, they're just like, oh man, look at that beautiful family right there, man. They love Esteban so much. They love his kids. Oh man, they love each other. Man, that's a beautiful family. That's how they look at that, because they're not under mobile heart attack, right? Now, you know why the heathen don't care about this? You know why they don't care about them having multiple wives? Is because they would be expanding and multiplying on a land that the heathen don't want. They're expanding and multiplying on one of the smallest islands on earth. The heathen don't give a damn about that island. Yeah, go ahead and actually have a great family, because ain't gonna be ish there for y'all. Yeah, go have a great and prosperous community. Go ahead and love each other and have generational, generations of families and generational love, essentially. Go ahead and have that, because we don't want to be there, and you guys are going to profit much on that island. Oh, we gave you the world's second coral reef, you know. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, now go multiply over there, niggas. Right? That's why they don't care. That's why they're not pushing. Like, what? Why you think the quote unquote Christians, the missionaries, they not hop on they boat with the Bible and you know the weird haircuts that they be having, and they came and was like, the blood of Jesus, the blood of Jesus. Oh, this is all so wrong. Oh, you guys need to have one wife because the blood of Jesus, because Jesus said so. Why are they not doing that? Because they don't give a damn about the area. That's why these niggas, like, why do you think in America they needed to make sure that the niggas, you know, I think is from Judah, one of the strongest sects of the 12 tribes of Israel? Why do you think they like, oh, no, hey, one wife, happy life? One wife, happy life, brother. One wife, happy life. Can you say it with me? One wife, happy life. Yeah, you got it. All right, now go on and take over the world, bud. You'll be by yourself, isolated like Nolan. And then they're going to go ahead and have those meetings. They're going to be like, all right, so which one of them darkies we should throw in the creek? Yeah, swim, boy, swim. Yeehaw. Right? So that's why us in America and us in the UK, us in, you know, these, I guess, highly civilized quotation societies, the reason why we think, we got to have one wife, we got to do things this way, is because the heathen have made sure that we wouldn't multiply on enemy territory. That is literally it. That's why I told you in Deuteronomy 9, if your soul abhor my judgments, this is a judgment. God said, God, what do you think? That's like if I went, you know, I pulled up and God's in the God seat. I'm like, Most High, what do you think of multiple wives? What do you think God's going to do? He's going to make a judgment, right? He's going to be like, I think it's fine. Your forefather had 4, actually. Yeah, Jacob, yeah, he actually had 4. Yeah, that's how you think you niggas came out here. Yeah, so, no, I think that's fine. Wouldn't that be a judgment? So, if you abhor what God thinks is right, well, hey, the curses are coming after you, right? Again, this shows you, like what Brother Xavier said too, that is possible. Seeing is believing. this is possible in modern times. He actually has a phone right there. I said they don't have phones. He actually has a phone. I didn't even notice that. So this is modern times. Hey, this happened a year ago, I think, right? It's possible to do this, right? Men having multiple partners is normal in their community. And look at how happy they are, right? Even though they basically have nothing, they look happier than families in America.
Part of life here.
Is she married?
I have a husband, but I'm not married.
Oh, really?
Which means it's all free union. Free.
Yeah. Again, not based on God. The foundation's not based on God. They have some things that, sound right, but her saying free union, a little wild. It's a little wild. But what can you expect, right?
That's logic almost. I have a husband, bless you, but
Thank
I'm not
you.
married. That's funny.
It's all free union.
Here.
Is she married?
I have a husband, but I'm not married.
Oh, really?
Which means it's all free union. Free.
Also, people don't care about their personal space and joke around all the time.
One of the biggest problems of the island is trash. Some of these will be in the ocean, some of these will be sent to the mainland. But you can feel the smell and the amount of mosquitoes wherever you go. Is it filming?
Most of the waste is hidden in the ocean. Without thinking twice, people just throw their loads of garbage into the water, which they see as a dumping ground. Plastics, glass, and metal pieces. But what you will see next will make you feel more
Didn't he say they have the best wildlife? You eating fish out that water?
disgusting. Unbelievably, even a toilet can be found at the ocean floor. The crabs swimming in this pollution are some of the important food sources for the residents. And these broken cages were used to hunt these animals.
There are some plastic bags in the ocean. People are fishing. These women are washing their clothes. Life is chaotic here.
Access to electricity and drinking water here varies depending on the weather conditions. Solar panels are
Because they get water when it rains.
here.
This is the way they produce electricity for the island.
We have 380 solar panels.
Look at that. So they got a section of solar panels. I thought that was one solar panel. It's actually several. But they have one area that's collecting power to power this entire island.
And 180 batteries, which gives us energy for everything.
If the weather is sunny, electricity is provided between 12 a.m. to 5 p.m.
So again, if it's sunny, hey, if it's a bad day and it's raining all day, no power. That's why there's days where they can go with having no refrigeration. It only depends off the sun.
There's something that she wants to change in this island.
Mainly the electricity. Look, today we
You see? So even though they think it's perfect, it's a blessing, even they're like, yeah, this electricity problem is a problem.
We've been without electricity for 4 days.
All the drinks are hot.
You see tomatoes and peppers. Since there isn't enough power, these are not very fresh.
These power generators are working.
Almost everything people need is provided in the 3 markets on this main street, including medicines. This is the trading center of the island. There's an
Okay, so let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 48.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 48. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness.
Now hold on. I guarantee you there's people in that video hungry. I guarantee you there's people in that video thirsty because they don't have water just like how we have water. I could go get a water bottle right now. I could go refill my water bottle right now. They can't do that, right? And it also says in nakedness. There's kids running around.
I'm sure there's somebody without clothes somewhere on there, bro.
Hey, it's like the Boondocks Terrible or something where Thugnificent and them boys are running around naked, right? Now they're not everybody's doing that, but I'm just saying, again, these are the people. Read.
And in want of all things.
And in want of what?
Of all things.
Read.
And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee.
Okay, so you will serve your enemies in want of all things, right? They praying that the government turns on their electricity, or they're praying that the Navy brings them water, and they're gonna explain that too. Every now and then the Navy will bring them some water. And they're like, oh, it's a blessing from God. You know, when they could just literally expand your island and build a water filtration plant. So you guys could have constantly clean water. You guys are surrounded by water. It's nothing for them to build a plant to harness the water that you guys are surrounded by and turn it to clean, drinking, usable water. But because they come by and give you a few jugs of water, oh, thank you, white man. Ah, so great. Right? They only have electricity for certain hours if the weather's good, right? So at the end of the day, how much of a blessing is it to really live on that island, right? Their food goes bad because they don't have refrigeration, right? They haven't had refrigeration for 4 days. They only have 3 markets on the entire island.
You know what it is? Israel is so happy with handouts. The old saying, teach a man how, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach a man how to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. We are so satisfied with just being given a fish a day. We're so satisfied with that instead of learning for ourselves or taking accountability to get the skills needed to produce for our own and be self-sufficient in things. We're so okay with just being given what's needed, bare minimum, to get by every day.
Man, like what he said, we don't want to learn how to fish. We just want to fish, right? You don't know how many times, you know, I can't think of it on the top of my head, but there's been many times where like my homies will ask me for something and I'll be like, I could just show you how to do it. They're like, nigga, I don't want to, man, just give it to me, bro. Well, I could just, nigga, you could do it yourself. You know, like, that's our people, like what Xavier said. We are content with just getting that one fish.
Another
Fish a
shop
day.
here. You can buy some t-shirts and shorts.
We have a lot of wind here. The salt carried by winds damages our devices.
The real struggle begins with the obtaining of drinking water, as there is no tap water in here. As you see, they gather the rainwater with these pipes. Not even a single drop of water is wasted.
Drinking water? We suffer a lot. There, below the health center, we have a community tank that we call the lung of the island. When it rains, the joy is so immense here that we go partying that day. Here, the drought scares us so much. It takes 7 to 8 months to get some rain here. We store that precious liquid and then we distribute it to all the
Hold
families.
on, 7? I didn't catch that my first time. That is insane. It takes them 7 to 8 months to get rain. Damn. What? That's how you know the Lord is not happy with them. That's all I got to say. The Lord is not happy with them, right? But they think they're blessed because of the community they built, which is beautiful. But again, it's a detriment in their case because they're not willing to see that they are oppressed and that they do need to change, right? 6 to 8, that is insane. Oh my God. For some rain, it rains here. They're on a good season. It rains here almost every day. In Miami, it literally rained every week. I worked on pools. It rained every week for like 4 months until I moved. So like every week it rained. It was insane. I would know because I had to clean these pools and carry way more jugs of chlorine because it rained the week before. So now I got to go ahead and get 40 pounds of chlorine off the back of a pickup truck and go through somebody's backyard and dump it in their pool, right? They don't even get that. I'm over here complaining about the rain. They would love that. That also lets you know, stop comparing yourself to other people. Stop comparing your situation to a different situation because you have something the other person wants. The other person has something you want. That's just how God did it. So we can come together, not so we can stay isolated, so we can come together and multiply our talents, right?
Families equally without skipping anyone. The Navy sees the problem we have here. They let the mayor's office use their ships so that they could bring us some water. This helps a lot.
They give them crumbs. Like literally, the Navy, oh, you guys don't get water for 6 to 8 months? I guess we could give them niggas some jugs. I mean, hey Jeffrey, do we got some extra jugs? Yeah, we got about 6. Okay, yeah, go ahead, send over there to them. You know, we gonna write it off anyway. Or it might not even be a write off. They just don't give a damn because it's literally crumbs, right? But to them, they're like, oh, the Navy, we're so thankful. Oh, thank you, Mr. White Man.
have some water. All the tanks are full because it is rain.
Also, the island doesn't have any sewage system. Even though rain means good news in terms of water supply, rainfalls are bringing life into the edge of a chaos. Since the enlarged areas of the island are not
Again,
solid,
They have this coral reef. He was talking about the waves, right? Well, I mean, I'm not saying it was a 30-foot wave, but
it's good news in terms of water supply. Rainfalls are bringing life
I
into
mean,
the edge.
it's looking like how Peter was looking when he was out there with Christ. That's how it's looking like. It's looking like I'm about to see the Lord and Savior say, "My son, step off the platform, come to me." That's what it's looking like. It's a whole tempest going on.
Of a chaos. Since the enlarged areas of the island are not solid, hurricanes or a heavy rain makes houses and streets unusable.
Okay, so let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 68 because I still want to touch on, them being happy that the Navy gives them water.
It's funny. Before we read it, I'm gonna say something.
No, of course.
Because think about that. It's like you said, it's being happy with crumbs and just knowing that we are the tail and we're supposed to be the head. That heathen Hamite woman that came up to Christ, what did she say to him when she's like, even the dogs eat from the crumbs of the master's table? That's where they're supposed to be, not us. They're supposed to be the ones that's okay with us giving them. I'm just saying. I just thought about it as we think about it, man, because you said being okay with crumbs. They supposed to know that position because that's why even that woman knew that. She knew how great Christ was and knew how great it was with people. And she knew, he said, great is your faith. Go away. It is given to you. So just like them, they're saying, great is your faith in me. Here is your little bit of water. Go back to doing what you do. It's just crazy, right?
No, and that's how you know the Spirit is moving because we're gonna go into that. We're gonna go into that scripture in the class right after this, right? Because it's like what you said, And Abe, I thought about that too. I was like, damn, they just like that heathen that came up to Christ. I'm like, hold on. She was like, yes, but the dogs eat the crumbs off the master's table. Right? We doing that. He's like, oh, thank you, Mr. White Man. We got some jugs of water. Oh, thank God. Thank you, God. Right?
Yeah.
When God is not giving you rain, and when he gives you rain, your island's about to be flooded. I'm telling you, we have to return to the Most High. But let's get Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
And this is the part I really want to touch home on. No man shall buy you. Did the Navy buy them? No, I don't think so. Did the Colombian government buy them? I mean, they gave them a lottery machine, so I guess they kind of get no, right? No one bought these people, right? Like I said, did the French people come and buy the niggas? No. Did the Chinese come and buy the niggas? No.
They was trying to put them work.
Yeah, exactly. They probably would have done it if they were like, they really saw the value for real. But maybe they did, and they just couldn't. Esau was just too strong at that point in time. You know what I'm saying? It could also be that too, because the whole world knows if you have Israel as slaves, you will win. The elder was literally just talking about this earlier. The whole world knows this. If whatever superpower is on top is the superpower that has the niggas as slaves, that the Persians, the Assyrians, Babylonians, the Greeks, the Romans. Niggas in chains. We winning, right? Because we got God's people. No man shall buy you. Let's get that scripture that Brother Xavier touched on. Let's go to Luke. I think I want 16. Actually, this is it's the same concept, but this isn't the Canaanite woman. This is the brother Lazarus, asking for some, I guess, provision from this rich man. So let's get Luke 16 and 21, or get verse 20.
It's the book of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 20. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores,
Okay, so there was this really poor man, right? Read.
and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores.
Okay, so this is the estate that this man was in, that the dogs is licking his wounds, right? He was desiring to be fed the crumbs, and the rich man didn't want to give it to him. That's why when he was in the lake of fire, he asked for that drop of water off of Abraham's tongue, right? And let's actually go to that sister, because I said we'll go to that Hamite woman. Let's get Matthew 15. You have some for us?
Yeah, while I'm getting it, it just says that the dogs were licking his sores. That means he's on death's door, right? Because if the dogs are able to come up and lick your sores, that means you just laid out.
He's not fraying them away.
You can't even do nothing. They like, yeah, he about that. He about ready to die. Yeah, he tastes good. As soon as he's gone, we ready to eat him. They're like, bro, that's what that is right there. I ain't never thought of it, but just seeing that.
Nah, me neither. That's a good point, because it's like what you said. If the dogs are licking his sores, like he's basically almost dead, and that's why later on in that chapter he did die and he was resting with Abraham, So no, that's a good detail. Let's get that woman. Let's get Matthew 15, and we'll start at verse 22.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 15, and verse 22. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast and cried unto him, saying, Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with a devil.
Okay, so her daughter's not vexed with the Baba Yaga, right? Her daughter's not vexed with Art the Clown, and her daughter's not vexed with Michael Myers. Her daughter is vexed by her own thoughts. Her daughter is vexed by the demons, the thoughts that are evil and contrary to the right way. Those thoughts are destroying her daughter, and it's causing her daughter to do stupid-ish. So she's like, "Oh God, you the God of reason. Please, I know you can get this devil away." Read.
But he answered her not a word. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, Send her away, for she crieth after us.
They like, "Man, can you get this heathen away from us?" Like, Christ, hey, we've been walking for 5 miles. I'm not questioning you. I know you know all things, but can you send her on her way? Like, it's been 5 miles, right? Read.
But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Okay. The Navy answered them and said, We are not sent but to the lost sheep of America. You Negroes are not Americans. Here is some jugs of water. Right? Read.
Then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me.
She worshipped him. So she paid reverence to him. She paid respect unto him. Just like they said, we appreciate what they do for us. Right? Read.
But he answered and said, It is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to dogs.
It is not meet to take our tax money and build a water filtration plant on your island because you guys are dogs. Read.
And she said, Truth, Lord.
Oh, yes, Mr. White Man, we know.
Yet the dogs eat of the crumbs which fall from their master's table.
Can we get a few jugs of water?
That fall from the master's ship.
So this is the parallel that Brother Xavier was trying to tell us, right? We acting just like that Canaanite woman. We're acting just like that Hamite. Excuse me. And I say Hamite because Canaan is a descendant of Ham, right? So, hey, again, it's important to remember your situation and the state that your people is in. If everything is fine, then what will compel you to make a change, right? If you think that you're not at a disadvantage, or excuse me, if you know that you're at a disadvantage, then the enemy will never gain an advantage over you, right? They don't think they're at a disadvantage. They think they're at an advantage. The world's second most largest coral reef. We have all this sea life here. Our family is here. All this good stuff, right?
Pride of life.
And that pride compasseth them like a chain, and violence covereth them as a garment. excuse me, let's get Matthew 9 and verse 11, because I said that if you think everything is fine, then what would compel you to change, right? If you think everything is fine, then what would compel Christ to heal you? Let's get that. Matthew 9 and 11.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 9 and verse 11. And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto the disciples, why eateth your masters with publicans and sinners?
So he's like, hey, you're supposed to be the most holy nigga around, right? Holy art thou, yeah, whatever. Why are you with sinners, man? Hey, what's going on with that, bro? Like, why you, man, he wasn't keeping the Sabbath last Sabbath. I saw him buy a baguette on the Sabbath. And baguettes didn't exist then, but I saw him buy a baguette on the Sabbath, right? Hey, what, man, why you eating with him? Because I just seen him sleep with that guy's wife, right? Read.
But when Jesus heard that, he said unto them, they that be whole need not a physician, but they that are sick.
Okay. So, hey, if you are whole, if you are blessed when you are keeping the commandments, then how will the commandments ever come inside you? Pause. No diddy, right? If you are blessed, then how will you ever receive the right way? Because you think you're already living right. Let's go to Deuteronomy 28 and 60. I want to get that scripture again.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies, for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Okay, again, no man shall buy you, right? And now we're going to also see, because these people think that people, and it's messed up, but they have a whole tourist thing, right? Where the tourists come and that's what funds most of their economy is the tourists. So again, the heathen coming, or also the white Colombians, the people that is their people that don't think they are their people. I know the division is deep. Those people coming, they think those people are going to buy them out of their hard times. Oh, yes, we got tourists. Yay. People looking at us like monkeys in a zoo. Oh, thank God we got money, right?
What does he not like about this island?
Well, the only bad thing is the rainy season. When it rains, the tides rises. All these streets are flooded with seawater. More in September and October. During those months, if these houses didn't have these raised floors, the rainwater would enter the rooms.
Keep in mind that they are also without electricity during these seasons.
We are at the heart of Santa Cruz del Islote. This is the only monument on the island, and it is called La Patrona.
And then, yeah, they got the fake cross. That wasn't even the cross he was on. It was a cross because it was an X. It wasn't that type of cross. But hey, and that also goes to show you we still are the people, because we can be so far away from God in principle, but we still have this connection, the desire to want to be with God, right? That's why it's so easy for the heathen to run ball on us, because they can give us their image of God.
Protects us from hurricanes.
We are inside the small church of this settlement. It seems like it needs some repairing.
Are you the priest?
I am the leader.
There are many young kids on this island. What will their
And I like how he said that too. He said, are you the priest? And he said, I am the leader, right? So notice the guy who actually, this is a massive community, right? There's a whole bunch of people here, a whole bunch of grown men, but that priest is the leader, right? The one that has and that's crazy. They're not in the truth. They're not in the truth, but they have enough sense to know that the person that understands the Bible the most is the one that should have the reverence, is the one that should be the one that we ask counsel for, because he knows the most about God. So he is the most qualified to lead us.
future be like?
After they finish primary school, they don't go on to further studies. Their parents don't have the means to send them to the mainland.
So there are 240 students on this island and 12 teachers.
And that's their one school.
Welcome to the only school on the island.
This is a classroom for the grade 1. Since there is no school in the neighboring islands, students from there also come here, and their school service is of course a boat. Every young boy here loves playing soccer, even the girls.
What do you want to become when you grow up?
A soccer player.
Where do they want to play?
In Madrid. The Paris team. In Argentina.
All right, bear with us. You know, Satan got to get his mobile heart attack on. You know, someone's gonna download this game now.
Locals are earning their living by tourism. Qualified as a national park,
Okay, so yeah, look at now. What's crazy, right? All the people on this island are dark, right?
locals are earning their
Look at all these tourists, and we got a fake Jew, right? I could tell from the nose, man. That's how you know it's a fake Jew. That witch nose.
Yeah.
You know it's them, man. The Arabian, well, not Arabian. What's their name? What was it? Aryan, yeah, Aryan race or whatever, right? Look at these guys. Look, there's probably like 2 sisters on this boat right here.
living by tourism. Qualified as a national
And then look, we also got, some Colombians, some Israelites with white skin, right? And they're walking, looking at their people like monkeys. When Moses was coming in the Pharaoh's skin, wasn't Moses in the Pharaoh's skin as his daughter's son? And he was walking around his people with hate for the oppressor. He was walking around looking at his people like, why the hell are my people in this state? And these Israelites are looking at their people like, ooh, ooh, let's give them a banana, honey.
Over there on the islands, they a regular 9-to-5 worker. Like
Real
you said,
talk.
Moses was royalty, but couldn't stand to see it. You know what I'm saying? So
And it's like what you said. Moses was royalty and they regular people on their island back at home.
because Moses was meek.
Exactly.
Moses was the meekest man. Moses was meek. That's why, bro.
The meek shall inherit the earth. That's Psalms 37:11, right? The meek shall inherit the earth. They're not meek.
park, the island charges $2.5 from the tourists for the entrance. With the arrival of these hundreds of tourists every day,
Like what? What? I can't even. What is it to like? I just can't understand the mindset of, oh, let's go to this really impoverished island because, man, we want to go on a vacation. When I want to go on a vacation, I'm thinking of like, back at home in Miami. I'm thinking of, maybe somewhere nice, like, Cincinnati or something, right? I'm not thinking of this.
I'm telling you, that's a I feel better about my situation thing.
Exactly. When
I
they
have
look at
so
them.
much hate for, like you said, because even if you know it or not, some of the same people, it's my own people, that I'd rather see them down lower than me because it makes me feel better about myself instead of just, you feel me? Like you said, not comparing, because you can compare yourself to something greater, and then like we're talking about here, compare yourself to yourself, you would seem below her. Instead of just comparing, instead of just being happy and just being content, you'd rather go down and be like, damn, yeah, I got it way better. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, my life ain't too bad. But you got to see that in order to have that thought. My life ain't too bad. Nah, man.
100%. And that's why, like what we said, you have to be meek.
much bigger chaos appears on the streets.
For us, tourists are a blessing from God. They are.
So that's why I went to Deuteronomy 28:68 twice, because it said, no man shall buy you. These people literally think that men are buying them. Like they're getting by. Oh, yes. Thank you, God. Oh, there's people willing to give me $2 to see me live like an animal. Oh, thank you, God. Yay.
A source of employment, directly or indirectly.
I'm a bartender.
What is the average salary or profit for a person here?
It depends very much on the season. There is a guy who goes diving. If he's lucky, he can make $30 per day. If they're
$30 per day. He's probably working like 12 hours. I ain't gonna lie to you. He's probably working like 12, 14 hours all the way till the sundown for $30.
there are a few tourists, he can only earn $15. A bartender, depending on the tourism season, after expenses and paying workers, can make $50 per day.
This is if they can attract foreigners. Here there is an aquarium built for tourists where locals keep fishes, sea turtles, and even sharks in a very limited space. Famous for allowing tourists to swim with these animals, this place significantly contributes to the local economy.
Okay, so let's get Deuteronomy 16 and verse 18.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16 and verse 18.
Okay. And this is going into them having the priest, right? This is going into them having a leader, right? Let's get that.
Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment.
Okay, so why am I going into that? So because right here.
The only hostel of Santa Cruz del Islote. Let's go inside. Despite this crowd, there is not even a single police that provides security to tourists here. It looks like a silent shelter in chaos. Despite this crowd, there is not even a single police that provides security nor a state of law on the island, since everybody knows each other.
Now, you guys are probably like, man, Brother Donnie, why did you bring out judges and officers shall you make in thy gates, and they don't have no police? Well, because they are their police. They created a police.
They're here. They don't need for it. Nor a state of law on the island, since everybody knows each other here. They don't need for it.
They don't need for it because everybody knows each other here. Because we have the priests and we have the elders, and these are all things that are set up on their island, and they have no crime. They have no murder. That's weird. But why is the West End so quote unquote violent? Why is Detroit so quote unquote impoverished? Why are these hoods like this, right? In America, when we have way more than these people. We have police, quote unquote, right? We have officers, quote unquote, right? But our cities are some of the most violent cities. But when we are away from the heathen, when we are away from the poison that is infecting our minds, we can then realize, oh shoot, we can be our own officers. We can set up elders and judges. We can set up our own system. And that also goes into being accountable. Men understanding, you know what? I have somebody I'm accountable to. I have somebody that, you know what? Before I do that, let me go ask counsel to this brother. Because I know this brother has sound judgment. Let me go ask him. Hey, bro, what do you think about this? You know what? He gave me some counsel, but I'm still unsure. Let me go to the elder, because I respect and reverence the elder, and I respect his understanding in the scriptures. So let me go to my elder. Hey, so elder, what is going on with this scripture? So that's what the brother was trying to tell me. Now I understand, right? But these things don't happen even in the truth, because we want to be ruled by our own mind. We want to do our own thing. That's why I said these people are putting us to shame.
Look, we have 800 people here and we have no police. So you don't see robberies, muggings, or stabbings. We live peacefully here.
Our police here are older adults. We respect them so much here. If they're
Wait. The police are the older adults? Man, that's interesting. But our people are the same people that be like, ain't no nigga gonna tell me ish. You can't tell me ish. I'm my own man. But they are willing to be meek and humble enough to be like, you know what? This brother got it. Let me just fall back and just follow his direction.
It goes into seeing ourselves and our people too, because again, on this island, they're isolated. So yeah, of course you're gonna respect somebody who you since legit raised up, they've been there, you've seen them. Yeah, you're gonna respect because you've been around them and seen them your whole life. But when you go city to city, place to place, moving around bigger cities, when you start to get away from your what they call it, intermediate family, when you start to get away from them, you start seeing your people less and less as your people, as your family, as you're supposed to, and give that same respect and reverence, and you just see them as just another nigga. another nigga in the way, another female to holler at, another woman acting, just trying to get on your nerve, trying to tell you what to do, or another old elder man trying to control you, or he's hating on you because you're young, or like, nah, bro, like they're trying to give guidance or counsel or put you the right way. But again, that same due reverence and respect ain't there because we don't see each other as family. Here, they don't have no choice because they all grew up with each other.
And that's a good point too, because they grew up with each other, right? And that's why it's all the more important that we start now. Especially like in our congregation, we got a bunch of children. You know, our children are going to grow up together. So it's important that as they grow up, they see this right here. It's important as they grow up, they see that there's judges and officers in the congregation set up. It's important that they see that there's elders in the congregation set up, that there's a man, a leader that's set up, that everybody respects with one accord. Look, we all fall short of the grace of Christ. We are all evil. Our biggest problem is that we compare situations too much, right? David got a man killed after sleeping with his wife and getting her pregnant. David, now I want you to know that's some gay-ish. I love David. That's one of my favorite prophets in the Bible. My favorite king in the Bible. That's my guy. That was some gay-ish he did. So you telling me my man was looking at some titties on the balcony? He was like, damn, she got some big titties. Hey, yeah, can you, Nathan, can you go get her for me real quick? Yeah, I need you know how it is, giving counsel. You know, I got to go get some counsel real quick, right? We could think of the ways he probably got her there, right? That he's there. You know, David's smooth. You know, oh, yeah. So, you know, I'm the king. You know, he's smooth, right? My man had multiple wives. You know, he was smooth, right? And he went ahead, slept with her, and then got her pregnant. And then you see the manly thing to do. And now, again, this is, in my opinion, you know, him and Maccabees are, besides Christ, are the manliest men to ever walk this earth, right? You know how not manly it is to do that to somebody's wife and then not confront them and be like, hey, bro, look, you know, I messed up. And then you made it right with the whole congregation of Israel. You put your own self on Front Street. You say, look, I got to step down from the king seat. You know, I did something that wasn't befitting of a ruler of Israel. I did something that wasn't befitting of Christ. David didn't want to do that because he was scared. He was scared of the shame it was going to bring him. And that's understandable, right? I'm bringing this up to show you that, look, we are all human. This is one of the greatest men to ever walk this earth. And he did something as foolish as that. But he was able to bounce back. He kept the laws blameless because he returned back to God. That's why we went to Psalms 119, because David said, in my affliction. Exactly. He said, you know what? When the Lord afflicted me, I was like, dang, I was doing some whole-ish. Oh man, I was being weak, right? That's why, again, I bring this up because we need to have people, look, if they got the knowledge and understanding, and then they have the charity on top of that, because that is the most important part. If they have the charity, if they have the mindset to put you before themselves, that's a man you need to follow. And it's not no belittling of yourself. Because we have America, like what you said, this is all they have, right? Because we're in America, we can have our own business. We can have our own house. You know, me, Brother Xavier, Brother Sean, Brother DeCarius, we don't have to live together in the same house. We could all have our own house and be separate. But how much weaker would we be, right? We wouldn't be a community. Yeah, we might see each other from time to time, but it's not going to be like this, right? Again, it's important that these systems are set up in place and that we are all meek enough to just accept where we are, because there's every part of the body is vital. I think if you lose your big toe, you can't balance. That's one toe. That seems like so insignificant, and it's touching the ground. It's walking on the ground. You don't want to lay down on the ground. I mean, shoot, I lay down on the ground plenty of times. But most people don't want to lay down on the ground, right? Your toe is always on the ground, always doing the stuff people don't want to do. But if you lose that big toe, you can't walk. If you lose your Achilles tendon, you can't do anything. All that athleticism is out the window. That explosivity, that's out the window. You can't do anything, right? So we got to understand that there's certain parts of the body, and all those parts are important, okay? You have an important role to play. David wanted to be the doorkeeper if that was the only way he was going to get into the kingdom of heaven. Just opening, hey, brother, you made it. Hey, Xavier, oh, yeah. Hey, come on in, man. Come on through, right? That's what David was okay with being, okay? But we have brothers that, oh man, no man can't tell me anything. And that's the problem with all the new brothers that try to come through our church. That's why they don't last. Because they're like, you can't tell me what to do. And our elder, I ain't gonna lie to you. Hey, he's gonna hold that Bible gunpoint. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna hold these words gunpoint to you. And he's like Paul, you know, he's not gonna salt the words all the time. He might tell you it in the most blunt way. And you go, F that man, Rick, man. I ain't listening to him. He called me a girl, man. He called me a girl, right? Okay, why though? Why he called you a girl? Why did he call you a girl? You're not gonna say because you was crashing out because he told you that you can't come inside the building with no fringes. You didn't tell me that. You just said he called you a girl. You was being a girl, bro. Like, again, these things need to be set up in place, and we need to be okay with it. Let's get Deuteronomy 16 and 18 from the top.
Judges and officers shalt thou make thee in all thy gates, which the Lord thy God giveth thee throughout thy tribes, and they shall judge the people with just judgment.
And that's why I said charity is the most important part. Because if you have a judge that is not charitable, if you have a leader that is not charitable, they will not do just judgment. But that's why it's important as us as followers to have faith in the God that we're following, that he would put us under a leader that has his heart after God. Because if we think that the person that's over us is evil, or we think that the person that's over us is not adequate to be our leader, we're telling God that he's not adequate in his selection because God placed that man over you. So you're saying, God, you don't know what you're talking about. So we need to have faith that God is always going to have what's best for us, and that he's going to place the best people in our lives. Yeah, there must be heresies among you to manifest the righteous, but that's why God also said, when two or more are gathered in my name, and we'll get to that, there I am in the midst, right? Let's get verse 19.
Thou shalt not wrest judgment. Thou shalt not respect persons, neither take a gift. For a gift doth blind the eyes of the wise, and pervert the words of the righteous.
Okay, and this is one of the most important things, right? Again, if your judge can emulate this, hey, be okay with following that person. You know, I'm telling you now, there are plenty of things that the elder has told me that I disagreed with. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to trust you. He could tell you that. There's been plenty of things, you know, where I'm just like, I call him up. I'm like, so why'd you do this? You know, why did you say that this was okay? Because, you know, according to the scripture, and I got the scriptures, I'm like, you know, this scripture and this scripture, you know, that don't really make sense. And he's like, yeah, you know, just go ahead and just trust me. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'll trust you. And then later on, the answer gets revealed unto me. And I'm like, that's why you did that. That makes sense. But we need to have a level of patience as well. Let patience have her perfect work. You're not always going to get the answer right away. You got to be okay with just being like, you know what, bro? I trust you. Because God's not always going to give you the answer right away. God didn't tell us, stop eating pork. And he didn't give us, did he give us a reason why? Did he tell us all the health benefits or all the health detriments that comes with eating pork? No. He didn't tell us about gout. I don't see one scripture about gout. God just said, don't eat that shit. That's it. Right? We need to have that level of faith towards the people God placed over us. Let's get Exodus 18 and verse 19.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 18 and verse 19. Hearken now unto my voice. I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the causes unto God.
Okay, so Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, is trying to give Moses counsel. Now, excuse me. Ooh, thank you. So Jethro, and again, this is how meek Moses is, right? Moses spent, 40 days, 40 nights with Christ in the mountain? He knows the Bible like the back of his hand. And he is willing to sit down and listen to some wisdom coming from Jethro, a heathen too, to listen to Jethro, his father-in-law, right? He still is meek enough to hear reason. Let's get verse 20.
And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do.
Okay, so he's like, yeah, you're going to be like God to them. You're going to teach them the right way. You're going to teach them the commandments. You're going to show them the way that they need to walk, right? And the work that they must do, the things that they have to do to get close to God, right? Read.
Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth,
men of lies,
men of truth,
men that will respect persons,
men of truth.
Read.
Hating covetousness.
Why is it important to hate covetousness if you're going to be a judge? Because covetousness is a strong desire for something, having a strong desire for something. If you're covetous and I have a strong desire for Brother Xavier's car, I have a strong desire for everything that Brother Xavier has, that's going to lead me to some folly, right? If I'm a judge and I have a strong desire to want to be with a sister, and let's say a matter comes to me, and then, it's between a sister and a different sister, and I'm like, I kind of want to crack that one. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. No, right? That's not men of truth. That's a man that loves to be covetous, right? His eyes are fat for the want of things, right? Keep reading.
And place such over them to be rulers of thousands, and rulers of hundreds, and rulers of 50, and rulers of tens.
Now, didn't OG in the video said that there was about 800 people on the island, and they have no crime, no murders, no raping, no Epstein, none of that, right? So they have able men set up to judge the matter of all these people, right? Men that they respect, that's the elders, right? Let's get verse 22.
And let them judge the people at all seasons.
No, sometimes.
At all seasons.
No, let them only be judges when it's necessary.
All seasons.
Read.
And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge.
Okay, so he's saying, look, Moses, for things that are huge, let them come to you. But for the smaller things, this sister went ahead and wore my dress and got a stain on it. Yeah, let Xavier deal with that. Moses, because we need you for the murder case. Moses, we need you for the adultery case. That's what we need you for, Moses. This brother called me a BAN, bitch ass nigga. He called me, his brother called me a BAN, and I want to squabble. Let Brother Sean deal with that. Moses, we need you for the rape. We need you for the dissecting the woman that got her body parts chopped up, like Brother Xavier said earlier. That's what we need you for. Right? Read.
So shall it be easier for thyself, and they shall bear the burden with thee.
So make sure you have people that's willing to bear this responsibility with you, because it is a big responsibility, right? It's a big responsibility, especially having kids. You know, there's decisions now that I be making, you know, that I have to really think about. Like, I can't just be like, oh yeah, whatever. I have to really sit there and think about it, because that decision can affect the future for my child. That decision can affect the future for my wife, right? Read.
And if thou shalt do this thing.
Okay, so if you set up judges and officers in your community, read.
And God command thee so.
And this is what God, this is what God told you to do, right? Read.
Then thou shalt be able to endure.
Only then will you actually be able to survive. Read.
And all this people shall also go to their place in peace.
No, they'll go to their place in quarrel.
Go to their place in peace.
They'll go to their place unsettled.
In peace.
So if you're not going to your place in peace with another brother or another sister, what is that saying? Right? Did you guys do what God commanded thee so? Did you guys go to your judge? Did you guys go to your elder? When you guys couldn't settle the matter between yourself? This is why we have so many issues in the nation of Israel. Because in Israel, we look at Matthew 18:15. We're like, oh yeah, between me and that person, right? But it says if you guys can't handle it on your own, get other people. Stop trying to do things on your own. This goes to everybody. Stop trying to do things on your own. Our mind is evil. Our mind is the devil. So if you try to do a great matter without counsel, what do you think will happen? When the turmoil comes, when the bad times come, and you still don't return to your system that God has set in place for you guys to actually be in peace, how will you ever reach peace? Look at how happy these people are. They have nothing. Look at this. Like, this is the bar. That's their bar. Or their kitchen. Look how happy they are. But because they have this system that they don't even know about this system. They just inherently know. But this was not told to them. And look at, I think he said, and all this people shall go their place in peace. Didn't he say this is a peaceful island? I think OG did say that. Let's go back a little bit.
Everybody knows each other here. They don't need for it.
Look, we have 800 people here and we have no police. So you don't see robberies, muggings, or stabbings. We live peacefully here.
Our police here.
We live peacefully here. Maybe that's because if thou shalt do this thing and God's command thee so, then shalt thou be able to endure, and all this people shall go into their place in peace. What is this thing God commanded them to do? Okay, and let them judge the people at all seasons. Okay, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men. Oh, that's what God is talking about. Oh, that's why they live so good. That's why they're so happy, because they have a conflict resolution chain set up. Not just, we just talk to each other and, because think about it. If you guys can't resolve your issue one-on-one, how the hell will you guys ever be at peace with each other? You need somebody on the outside to help. Go to your system that God set up in place for you, because that is a prideful thing for you to think that you don't need it. Pride compasseth them as a chain. Therefore, violence covereth them as a garment. Because you want to do things your own way, violence is covering you like a garment. The curses are multiplying on you like roaches, because you don't want to get the raid. Just get the raid. if we just keep stepping on roaches, is that gonna kill the nest? No. But if we get a roach trap, that's gonna actually kill the nest. If we get the raid, that's gonna actually kill the nest. Us just stepping on the roaches is not enough. We need a system set in place, right? Let's get Sirach 5 and 15.
It's the book of Sirach, chapter 5 and verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small.
Okay. So hey, again, God, if you abhor the judgment, if your soul abhor his judgments, these curses are for you. This is literally this is what God thinks is right. God literally told us, hey, make sure that you're not ignorant of matters that's going on in your family. If there's something going on, there's a turmoil going on, make sure you're not ignorant of it. Don't just be like, oh well. Because that's not love. But the heathen, because we've been poisoned, we look at another brother coming at us and trying to help us and give us guidance as something that's evil, as something that's weak, because we got to get it out the mud. We got to get it on our own. I'm my own nigga. You sound like a dumb nigga. That pride is compassing you like a chain, right? We have to be willing to do this. Let's get Matthew 18 and verse 20.
The book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them.
Okay. So when 2 or more are gathered in God's name, then God appears in the council. So let's think about this. When 2 or more are gathered in my name, right? That is why God said if you have a problem with somebody, go talk to them. And if you guys are both talking in meekness, and if you guys are both talking with the mindset of wanting to reach a resolution to the conflict, then God will be there. But if you two can't do it on your own, that's because, hey, you guys weren't coming in his name. One of y'all was not coming in his name. One of y'all's not being completely honest. One of y'all's not being completely sincere. One of y'all is not being completely charitable. But guess what? God is such a great man that he's like, look, I got to fail safe for that too. Get some witnesses. Get 2 or 3 witnesses with you to judge the matter. Because if you guys do that, then those 2 or 3 witnesses, if they come in my name, I'll be there. Let's say it still didn't work, right? Look, go ahead and get the elder, get the church. Bring the whole church to the matter. Because guess what? If that person disagrees now with your stance and the whole church agrees with you, that person is disagreeing with the body. That person is disagreeing with the congregation, with the family. You took yourself out the equation. But because we're prideful and we want to do everything, I get it. Look, I want to do everything myself. I really do. There's times where I want to do everything in the garden, but I'm like, yeah, I need my wife to help me. There's really times I want to do everything. I'm like, nah, I want to do this, I want to do that. My wife told me one time, she said, Donnie, you got to remember that you have a wife. Because I really do. I'll be trying to do shit myself. And that's the issue that I struggle with. And I think that's the issue that a lot of men struggle with, if not almost all men, just taking themselves out of the situation. Moses struggled with that. Why do you think his father-in-law needed to tell him, hey, you need to set up judges. You need to set up a system because you can't do this by yourself, right? Let's get Matthew 18 and 15 now.
Book of Matthew, chapter 18 and verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. if he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
Okay, did it say go over to thy brother and call him a BAN? No. Does it say go over to thy brother and say, hey, man, hey, I don't like because you weak, man? No. It said, hey, go over there and tell him the fault, right? And if he will listen to you, if he listens to you, then that means 2 or more were gathered in his name, right? If he doesn't listen to you, then hey, but again, that's why we have the fail-safe. Keep reading.
But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee 1 or 2 more, that in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses every word may be established.
Isn't that what we just said? So this system has already been set up in place, right? Look, if you guys individually cannot settle the matter and get 2 or 3 witnesses, because hey, the scriptures say out of the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, let every matter be established, right? Verse 17.
And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church.
Okay, so hey, if the witnesses can't solve it, bring it to the body. Bring it to the judge. Bring it to the elder, and let the higher system, let the system that's over us take control. Hello. Okay, cool. We got to give up control, right? We got to be okay with letting go. Okay. Keep reading.
Tell it to the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican.
Okay. So if these elders aren't set up, if the judges and officers aren't set up, then how can your body fight off the infection, right? How can your body fight off the virus that is infecting the family, right? Because we hate to be led or directed by anyone other than ourselves. We set ourselves up for disaster. If we can fall back and follow a system greater than our individual self, then when disagreements come that are too much for yourself to handle, you will have a system that has been set up specifically to handle matters that you cannot resolve. These people on this island, without the knowledge of God, have a better community than people in the truth. Let that sink in. How many people have left or been kicked out of congregations because they didn't have true love for their people? When there's hope of making prosperity, you can have your own home. You can have your white picket fence. You can have your own business, your own family, your own wife, one wife, happy life. Yeah, your own money. But on this island, there's no hope for those things. There's no want for those things. I mean, there's obviously people that want to be rich on that island, right? But these people don't care about, having their own family. Oh, I want to be away from all these people. I want my own family. No, because that's all they know, like what Brother Xavier said. This is all they've seen since they were children, right? That's why they're able to accept, you know what? This brother is over me. This is the leader. Hey, this is the leader of the church. He's the leader of the island. Hey, we couldn't resolve this. Let's go to him. Right? These were set up for our success, but we look at it because of our pride as an inconvenience, when really it's not, right? And because they understand that, they truly value and love their people, because that's all they have left. And it's like the title of the class, all we have left is each other, right? Now let's go ahead and finish the video.
Are older adults. We respect them so much here. If there is an argument, a misunderstanding, or a fight, the older adults set in and grab us, find out who is right, and then give us advice. Then
Wait, hold on. So if there's a fight, an argument, a disagreement, Brother Xavier, did it say that the people disagreeing figure it out and move on?
He said the elders grab them.
The elders grab them. They're like, whoa. Be not ignorant in matters great or small. The elders are like, whoa. What's going on? Why are you two fighting? What's going on? Tell me the matter, right? All right, look. Hey, say that you're sorry for calling him a BAN, all right? hey, go ahead and take the apology, because if you don't take the apology, you will actually be a BAN, right? Now move on with your lives, right? And they respect him enough to listen to that, to be in subjection to that.
Then we shake hands and keep on being the same brothers and sisters with no hard feelings.
Okay? And it said, if he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. Man, that sounds like the scriptures.
Does he have plans to migrate to somewhere else?
I'll spend my entire life on.
So he just asked them, hey, do you have any plans to get out of here? And this is his answer. This is how we need to be with each other.
Shake hands and keep on being the same brothers and sisters with no hard feelings.
Does he have plans to migrate to somewhere else?
I'll spend my entire life on this island. I was born and raised right here. I'm going to die right here.
In the evening, residents are more active.
Hey, I was born and raised in this congregation. I'm going to die here. This is my resting place. But we don't look at each other like that, right? That's why we're not seeing the kingdom, because the kingdom is established once we start doing that, once we start setting up these systems, and once we fall back and actually be a body.
And everywhere is more crowded since the weather cools off. When the sun goes down, the island gets completely dark because there isn't electricity at night. People use candles or flashlights of their mobile phones, which are charged during certain hours to brighten the night. Everyone goes outside of their doorsteps because their houses are very tiny and dark. Besides,
man, and it goes with the distractions. They literally have no distractions. So they're like, let's just go outside and spend time with each other. Literally. It's getting dark. Let's just spend time with each other until we decide to go to bed.
there is nothing to do inside of the houses. The darkness never prevents the island's...
You good.
Ain't that us on Tabernacles?
Hey, real talk. I was thinking about that because we got the lights out. Ain't nothing to do, so we like, let's just sit around and talk all night. And it'd be a great time. It's my favorite feast day.
Vibrant spirit. There's also a little pub where everyone gathers. Most of the locals drink a lot during the night. We hear Latin music all the time. People are singing and dancing together. Some of them play domino, a very popular game here. And the birthday party is still going on. Some of the garbage from this event is already piled...
Hey, hold on, that birthday party. Damn, the whole day. That's crazy.
Up here. Most of these people living in isolation from the rest of the world have never left these boundaries in their entire lives. They have no desire to leave their small world or to strive to improve their living standards with each passing day.
Again, it's a good and bad thing. Because everything in their eyes is so perfect, they don't think they need to change. So if a brother of fringes comes, tries to give them the word, they're going to reject it. Thank you. Because they don't see anything that needs to change. But at the same time, it's beautiful because they love each other so much. They're able to take a shitty situation and turn it into what they think is a blessing.
The island community has a deep bond to their homeland and they focus on shared happiness and positive values.
It says shared happiness. Shared. We hate sharing.
Problems of Santa Cruz del Istote are the lack of clean water and insufficient cleaning garbage. Island is not in a position to accommodate more people. Despite all the negatives, people are connected to each other like a big family and are happy. Thank you for watching this documentary. Don't forget to subscribe.
All right, yeah, we good. But anyways, so as you can see, right, the world's most crowded island has the world's most happiest niggas, right? Because they actually value each other. Let's get the last two scriptures. Let's get Matthew 12 and 48.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 12 and verse 48. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother?
Well, actually, get verse 47, my bad.
Verse 47. Then one said unto him, behold, thy mother and thy brethren stand without, desiring to speak with thee.
Okay, so, Christ was, he was standing, he was preaching, he was talking, and his mother and his brethren, his family, his immediate family, they were standing there, just like, oh man, look at our cousin. You know what I'm saying? Look at my boy. Look at how great he is, right? Read.
But he answered and said unto him that told him, Who is my mother, and who are my brethren?
So he's like, You said my mother and my brethren. Who's my mother? Who's my brethren? Read.
And he stretched forth his hands towards his disciples and said, Behold, my mother and my brethren.
Behold, my brethren. Behold, my mother and my brethren. Behold, my family. That is what Christ did. He still loved his mother. That's not saying he didn't, but he's letting them know, like, that's not just my family. This is my family.
It goes deeper in like the context what I was saying before, looking past your intermediate family, because his mother and his brothers would be his intermediate family. He's like, nah, man, look, this is my whole family, right? Again, having that same reverence and same love for all of us, having that same unity, not that division.
Facts. That unity, right? And we can have the unity if we all together do this. Verse 50.
For whosoever shall do the will of my Father, which is in heaven, the same is my brother and sister and mother.
Okay, I remember when my mom was here, we had got into it. She didn't want to keep the commandments. And, Brother DeCarius was trying to talk to her. Brother DeCarius was trying to talk to her. He was being real calm and cool. And she was like, get away from me. Get away from me. She was going crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Get away from me. And then I was like, you're not going to listen to this man that's trying to speak to you? And then she said, that's not my son. And I said, well, you're not listening to your son. So what does that mean? Exactly. So again, who is my mother? Who is my father? Right? Let's get the final scripture. Hebrews 10 and verse 23.
It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 10 and verse 23. Let us hold fast to the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised.
Okay, so he's like, hey, let us hold that profession of our faith. Let us not forget what we said we was gonna do, which was serve God and keep the commandments. Read.
And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works.
So let us consider one another, right, to provoke unto love. So let's try to love each other, right? And let's try to do good works together.
Encourage each other to do it. Provoke you to do love, not provoke unto evil.
Facts.
Hate for hate.
Not try to stumble you, not try to say something out of spite, but trying to provoke unto love. Hey, bro, I see that you don't be wearing your fringes around in the house, man. You need to, that's something that you need to do. The Most High said that we throughout the generations, right? That's love. That's provoke unto love. But if I come ahead and I'm like, hey, you musty, like, nah, that's not provoking unto love, right? That's provoke, like what Brother Xavier said, provoking unto evil, division. Verse 25.
Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together.
No, just having your own house.
The assembling of ourselves together.
No, just having your own family.
Of ourselves together.
No, just having your own business.
Ourselves together.
Read.
As the manner of some is, but exhorting one another, and so much the more as ye see the day approaching.
Because we know the day is coming where our God, the King of Kings, the first creation of the Most High God, is going to come and destroy this earth. He is going to burn it and replenish it. He is going to destroy and make new his final kingdom. Thy kingdom come, right? And I did say this will be the last one. This one, I want to get one more scripture because of that Hebrews. Let's get Philippians 2 and 3 because I really like that.
It's the book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse 3. Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind.
In meekness.
Let each esteem other better than themselves.
Better than themselves. That is what you're supposed to do, right? Like what Brother Xavier said, uplift one another, provoke unto love. This is how you provoke unto love. So it's actually good that we're going here. So we can see how to do it, right? Verse 4.
Look not every man on his own things.
No, only care about your own house.
Look not every man on his own things.
Only care about your own business.
Not every man on his own things.
Read.
But every man also on the things of others.
Verse 5.
Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus.
So let this spirit, let this understanding be inside you, which was also in the greatest man to ever touch foot on the planet, which was Jesus Christ. Do you have anything for us, Brother Xavier? And yeah, that's where we'll end it off. End it off on. Again, all that we have left is each other, and it's important that we see that. Good classes to go back into is Israel under mobile heart attack. That's a good class to go back into, especially following after this class, so you can really understand how poisonous this enemy is, right? So you can really understand how crafty they are, right? And when you do, you can then start to look towards your people differently, because everything that was told of you about niggas was told from Esau. So, Lord's will, this was a good lesson. Lord's will, I left y'all with a lot to meditate on, and hopefully this was edifying. And yeah, shalom, Brother Kenny. Oh man, hold on, hold on, let me get some of these comments. This island is a double-edged sword. It shows how little we need to be happy and keep the commandments, but how little can/could make us happy when we not keeping them. For real. Hey, like what he said, it's a double-edged sword. It could be a detriment, like it's good. It really is good, but because they're not keeping the commandments, look how little that they have, right? And they're still happy not keeping them, right? So imagine what we could have if we keep the commandments and live that way, right? We'd be, like I said, unstoppable. And Brother Xavier, Brother Decarius sent a super sticker. Hey, all praises to the Most High God. I appreciate that, putting his brick in. Then my wife said, being around each other teaches us how to interact. They're forced to be close, so they had to learn that works. Facts. I think she's talking about the multiple wives thing. Not having to worry about that made life a cajillion times easier. I miss the days of making decisions, for real. For just your, next thing you know, you blink, you got a family. You're like, damn, I gotta think. I gotta use my brain, man. I done been in that same seat before. Yeah, when you mess up, especially as the head, as an elder, as a leader, as an officer, the embarrassment is worse, because you're like, man, all the responsibility lied on me. Then, from Brendan, I see you. The Padawans trying to get their brick in as well. He's like, I'm ready to cut the braid off. Give me the blue lightsaber. I wonder if it's US dollars or what. Yeah, you know what? I wonder what is the currency that they use, because I wonder if it's like the Colombian. I don't know what's the Colombian currency, but then Sister Yulia said, the good thing about this is they don't have a TV to distract them. All they have is each other. Yeah, that's why they were outside. When the lights cut off, they just go outside and hang out.
That's a good point, because you watch TV, you know everything about your favorite characters, all the backstory of this, but life is TV for them, and so they know everything about everybody around them, and they're paying attention.
Hey, life is Seinfeld for them. Life is that 70s show for them, right? And Sister Victoria sent a super sticker. All praises to the Most High God. Thank you for the $5, sis. And yeah, hold up, I got Brother Decarius sending another super sticker. All praises to the Most High. Everybody in shape. Hey, I ain't gonna lie to you. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you know what? There's probably only like one obese sister on that island.
probably a little bit older.
Yeah, real talk. I'm not gonna lie to you. That is a good point. The other set, bring it out, Victoria. Nice size women that are actually physically desirable. Hey, they were attractive. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, no Total Drama Island. Yeah, it's not Total Drama Island over there, for real. And then Brother Quell said, good scripture. Christina put Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 30 and 22. The gladness of the heart is the life of man, and the joyfulness of a man prolongeth his days. Yep. That's why it says a wicked woman is like a cancer to a man's bones, you know, because, hey, when you take away his countenance, you take away the years. So, yeah. And I'll end it right here. It's just like what Sister Victoria said. We got to do better. Let's let that be the main point of this lesson, that we have to do better because we are getting outshined by people living on a football field. So let's go. Let's, make the most of what we have because we have a lot, and let's make the most of each other. So in that, I'll say, Shalom, Israel.